Okay. Little hiccup. Solved. Am I ready? Yes, I am. So we're waiting for Sock, who had a busy day today. Started at 12. That is 6 hours ago. Good to see, though, that he had a little break in between to, I don't know, go to the gym, get some food, whatever you do. One to zero surely greets him with a little bit of respect. Seems like we're starting on autumn leaves. Last series of the day then. Who's your money on? Do you think Sock can do it, man? I mean, he did defeat the Night Elf Vanguard. But maybe that was his focus for today. I don't know how impromptu these show matches always are. As Sock's mental coach, I have to say, Sock, did you especially prepare him for the undead as well? Or did you just teach the secrets of the inner Night Elf circle? I cannot remember the last time I casted a happy or 1-0 loss. So my memory is kind of shot. Leader of Corn every weekend has an effect. But I can't remember. Maybe a 1-0 life series? But they're just owning. They are just owning. Sock has arrived. We're here. Infi 1-0. I don't think I casted that. Might have been Remo. If it's not 1.75 liter a day. How do you end up with 1.75 liters? Are there bottles that are this big? Or are there... Do you have like 2 bottles that are each 1 point something? 0 point something? That's an oddly specific number. One handle bottle, damn. Okay. I don't think I'm familiar with that. Oh, that's the thing with the as you say, a handle. Yes, yes. Ay. Oh, okay, bro. And you still got brain cells. Well, that's impressive. Yeah. Now I know what you're talking about. Now I know. See, we learn something every day. Maybe today we learn how a human destroys not only the elves, but also the undead. It is Sock, the breaker of chains in the matchup versus Night Elf. He has defeated Moon. He has defeated Life after 29 lost series for the humans. He emerged as the chosen one. Now this matchup might be a little bit different. He is up against the number 2 player in the world. The Undeads are dominating the ELO ranking. Number 1, number 2. Happy and 1-2-0. They also seem like the strongest players at the moment. Sock, can you fulfill the golden day? Or will that day have a stench at the end? 1-2-0, I say this many times because I think it flies under the radar, has drastically improved his matchup of Undead versus Human in the past year, I would say. It is night and day. If you think back to the 2025 and 4 1-0, kinda uninspired, without any ideas, with sloppy execution, with questionable strategies. Nowadays, 1-0, absolute beast. He might still neglect the Banshees every now and then, but his love for the Abominations and Disease Cloud is surely there. Now, Lich first, Ghouls, Tempo, Expos at different times. And what's Sock gonna do about that? What's Sock gonna do about that? Starting with an Archmage. Did he have time to practice and put in a lot of effort to 2 matchups? Maybe the next challenge is, can Humba beat Undead? We'll see, we'll see, we'll see. This is so far the norm. And we do have a Sacrificial Skull on the Undead side as well. So expansion there. We got the pull, so no slow applied. It comes down to the first big attack, really. Who keeps the other busy? Who prevents damage from the second gold mine? Last hit is necessary, right? Yep. Good threat on this Echo. But I was about to say Sock handles this well, but then there's one peasant down. Bit unfortunate. Finds a circlet, always nice. 1-0 with a further forward Expo. That's a faster creep. He is positioned towards the upper left where Sock's Expo is. And now we'll see what the Lich is capable of doing. Spoiler alert, that's a lot. Oh, lovely block by the Footman. Lich can't pass. That is a Lich at 50%. With more chip damage, with water elementals close to ghouls. I don't hate this. As long as you can't break through here, the tower might actually come up.
A player's forces are under attack.
Then did 1-0 do enough to keep the water elementals away from this Expo? Because the Footmen are breaking through, 3 of them. Water elemental as well. Oh, peasant save, Skelly kill, Lich level 2. And he doesn't want to engage with the Footmen anymore as 2 of them have fallen. The water elemental is not attacking here anymore. That Expo will come through. It felt like it was a foregone conclusion that this Expo falls, but just like that, within the span of 2 seconds, matchup a bit turned on its head. Sock is rather broke. And the Lich is also starting the turbine, the mana turbine. Interesting that he's only sending skeletons. Oh, okay. Now here we go.
Are under attack.
But I think 1-0 found a good balance between offense and defense here. Especially with the offense still to come. Oh, Archmage next to the trees! No, 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 no! I don't know, is he so... Oh, damn, he is surrounded. Floodgates open, big attack. He's trying to evacuate here from the town portal. Oh, the town portal hits half. I guess that's the worst outcome, as these 2 Footmen will probably also fall. Nova, ravaging attack towards the workers. There is mana burn now from the altar, from the arcane. That's nice. But this town hall is paused. More militia. That means he has to wait for the worker time for, I don't know, 20 seconds or so. Oh, that's a long, long time. And a great attack by 120. Good news for SOC fans.
Town is under siege.
This town hall still stands. But it's in shambles, man.
A player's forces are under attack.
Lich is hurt a bit. He has a dagger still. And now the power build can continue. Tech running. If he had gotten that expansion of 120, this would be still a wonderful situation to be in for SOC. But we have the 6-minute mark. We have the undead tech running as you want it to be. We also have a SOC tech. To be fair, that's really surprising.
A player's forces are under attack.
To have this much lumber, despite this early game, I think that's pretty impressive. Still no tower. But the footies are here. The water elementals are here. Lich closer to 3 as the Archmage is. We hold. We hold. I would say that is a playable game, even though we have an advantage 1-0. I feel like today we're all SOC fans after what has happened today. The undead, I mean, obviously there's a lot of undead people, right? Obviously there's a lot of undead fans and players, etc. But it's also good to see the underdog perform well, and SOC has done this today. Heal scroll necessary soon as there's a Nova! Yeah, that's hard to come back from. Lich has free reign, can easy level to 4. This is where the Lich is then really online. Archmage back from the tavern. Dark Ritual, after Dark Ritual, every 20 seconds. I think it's a good thing to go for the Tavern here. He knows he's gonna get that level 3. He knows he has to keep the Lich busy. Level 4 is oftentimes GG. Spoke too soon? No, 1-0. Played too slow. Lich is not in great shape, has to wait for the DK, tech running, slaughterhouses, double script as always. So the tier 2 tech was rather fast. Maybe that was also due to the fact that, I don't know, he started the tech early? Lumber is an issue now. He can't queue up the tier 3. He doesn't have a lumber mill doing all the crazy fighting. And yeah, it is a sign if 2 fiends roam free, creep with the Lich. It is a good sign for the undead. It is a bad sign for the humans. And yeah, the Stormbolt, man, against the coil. It looks like it just tickles, but we have heal potion, and the Archmage needs that, like, immediately while creeping. We're waiting for the Coil Nova, aren't we? Are we willing to eat something? Free XP with that Water Elemental. A little sloppy by SOC. It's been a long day for him, though. Surround. Okay, no. Oh, there is a TP even. He's baiting in so much damage. Footman. Slaughtered. Act to the XP bar. Dodges the Stormbolt with an Invo Potion, even though he did think he needed to. And tier 3 is right around the corner. What can you muscle up against the Destroyer push? This was expensive for 120.
A player's forces are under attack.
And I'm not sure if it was necessary, but he gets mid-map control. He got a lot of kills. He's not contested at all. Lich level 4 is inevitable. And Sock still needs 45 seconds. You all know what happens in 45 seconds. A couple of black birdies are gonna show up.
Players' forces are under attack.
That Archmage lost in the beginning. That hurt. Okay. Dark Ranger, statue healing, and go. We got Frenzy at the ready. We got Destroyer at the ready. And we got 0 towers. And 0 towers. The gyros have to do the heavy lifting, but the gyros don't have flak cannons. So how heavy can you lift when you don't have the AoE?
Players' forces are under attack.
Miracle needed! A human miracle is necessary. Here come the gyros though. On the ground, fiends and heroes deal with Mountain King and Footman, but it's all about air. So far, the target fire by 120 was a little bit off, but I think as long as he can keep this in check, and he is, now the target fire is getting better. The gyros have disappeared, the Mountain King has fallen, and 120 reigns on the parade of Sock for now. But there was a lot of good in this game as well by Sock. Of course, losing the worker during the creep, not ideal. Kept him busy the entire time. Good play by 120. As so often. As so often. It is a fascinating matchup, isn't it? Autumn leaves. Bam. Yeah, I don't think we should expect miracles by Sock just because he had a good first half of the day. Doesn't mean he's going to dominate everybody now. And again, he knew that he had 2 matches versus Night Elf today, and maybe that was his main goal for today. Or he strikes back on a different map. If only DK had spiced carapace. That'd be something. So he got like chili on his back, and if people lick him, they take damage? Interesting idea. Haven't heard that before. Whatever it takes to get my mans more protection. Mr. Blanky, I'm gonna present you my balance proposals. And let me tell you, I gotcha. I got an idea. It's kind of a funny idea. It's definitely among the wildest takes that I have. But it's an idea. And of course, always wear protection, everybody. DK permanently invincible? No, I don't want to turn him into his horse. No, 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 no. But I think you're onto something there, Yang Feng. Brilliant ideas as always. All right. He has a horse? Arthur's horse is called Invincible. And then it dies, and then he resurrects it. And that's the horse he's riding right now. By the way, is the horse also named Invincible in the human form? Because that'd be kind of funny, because it like died. (1-0 for 1-0). On the way to yet another victory, 1-0. The highest earning player in 2026, winning like, I don't know, 88 show matches this year or something, or playing 88 show matches, not winning them all. Let's see if he can win this one. The early game here oftentimes is set in stone with Archmage Lich, and it really makes sense. Like, it's kind of good that we get this Lich open now, because it was infuriating how long the Pro Undeads clinged to the Crypt Lord. And now we see the Lich and we're also like, move away again, please. But why would any undead on this level not play Lich? There is no reason to.
A player's forces are under attack.
It's fragile early. Yeah, on this level, does it matter when you know that your opponent has only an Archmage? Against the Mountain King, maybe different discussion. Against the old Pally of Pally Rifle days, definitely a discussion. Against an Archmage, old man is not necessarily a glass cannon. But improvement number 1, we ain't losing a worker during tech. That's noise. What's the follow-up? How much damage, Sock? How much damage?
Town is under siege.
40 is playing on Sunday, Blood Angels.
Player's forces are under attack.
But these gladiator competitions, they are hosted by a Chinese streamer called BBC. And for some reason, BBC and 40 have beef. So 40 ain't playing this. I don't know the reason. And the new star on the human horizon after today is Sock anyway. Couldn't cancel the ziggurat here though. Wait, is it not worth it to go for the haunted? Or was he just too late? Some valuable seconds. In the meantime, ghouls ravaging the workers here. We got 15 seconds still. Ghouls falling actually. Archmage leveling. And Footman doing the heavy lifting. Boom. Expo down. Exclamation mark by Sock. Yeah, you will lose a Footman, but that is so worth it as long as you don't feed the Lich up too high. And as long as the Water Elemental don't go to the Lich constantly, I think you're not feeding him up too high. Way better early game. Also due to the map layout. Sock is trying to poke holes into the defense. Going for the ghouls. Both very hurt. But the rest is fine. As long as Sock is mining earlier and 1-0 is not mining, that is obviously the advantage here. I'm not telling you like the breaking news, but Keep 1-0 distracted. Keep him away from 3. Keep him away from 4. Reduce number of ghouls, even though they seem infinite. Oh, that deny. He just got the line of sight for the ledge. Well done, you gotta say well done. Well done. Can't deny this one. Well, I actually could have with the ritual dagger. So, it's interesting that this attack is not going to the expo again, where 1-0 was defending, but rather towards ghouls. This is chaos. This is a busy 1-0. And a busy 1-0 can't go up north. Here on Northern Isles. BBC's beef jerky is in competition with 40 shrimp business. Oh, he has no town portal. Nova, right click, Lich Dance! Lich Dance! And the gigantic Archmage just runs away. Holy shit, Sock! How do you get into your pants in the morning with balls like this? Mamma mia, the shop is up too. No way in hell he just killed that Lich. Lich is back, so he has presence, but that was so expensive.
A town is under siege.
Okay, we got a game. Hello, Shorty. What's up? We got a game. Still a solid number of footmen, even though we only see 2 here. Lich made it to 3 eventually. We also made it to a second mine eventually, but the tech only has started now. 7 minutes. More or less a 50-second delay on 1-0. And Sock is so much more stable. He's going for the lumber mill like a minute earlier. He has more workers than he had after the arrival at tier 2 and the map number 1. But we still gotta deal with that Lich. Maybe with poison ghouls here. Heal scroll committed early. Wow, this early game had a cancelled expo, a killed Lich, a tavern revive Lich, and a forced heal scroll. That's impressive. You can't die here though. Oh, he hangs around knowing that the mana is low for maybe yet another water elemental. Seven days, Shorty. 7 days. Not saying this is a dream early game, because the Archmage also like barely level 3. We are close to level 4. This is where the problems really begin. We also have a late altar by... it's only 10 seconds. I always love chip damage. In the past couple of weeks, I was of the opinion that, you know, doing just a little bit of damage here and there doesn't really matter. But if that, like these footy attacks, essential, I think. Acolyte down, Lich level 4. Will the momentum shift now? Watcher ward in the base. Ghouls threatened. But undeads always have so many ghouls, they never have to worry about their lumber econ. And these guys will be back to full health in around about 30 seconds. It's kind of absurd, I have to say. But hey, life of a ghoul. Life of a ghoul. Ups and downs. So, Nova is one of the strongest spells in the game.
Players' forces are under attack.
Dark Ritual enables you to spam that Nova. Will it be enough? Some idle workers? That might hurt. 2,000 gold on Sock! What? That's crazy! What the hell? Fiend denied but dead. But yeah, this is where the Nova games begin. Interesting that 120 is going for a Gargoyle. I think that's a very specific anti-sock play. Because he likes to, you know, build cannon towers behind enemy bases, drop with Zeppelins.
A player's forces are under attack.
Hope you're ready to party. I do have to install our overlay on Friday, otherwise I'm free. Nothing to do afterwards. Yeah, that's exactly what he's looking for. Is there a Zeppelin? Is there a worker? Is he building a cannon tower? Yep, that's exactly what he's doing. Nice. I like that. Player-specific moves like this. I really love it. Oh, Archmage. Don't want the town portal. Has a potion ready. Sock is wide awake. Maybe he took a little nap after his big success. You know, it gets exhausted patting yourself on the back the entire time, right? If you kill the two best Night Elves in Night Elf versus Human. Hey, Alexandros. Thank you, thank you. Vamos. There's a bit of tension in the air. If you had put on this match without the events earlier of Sock versus Moon and Sock versus Live, there wouldn't have been this tension. But now there's magic in the air. Last hit. Goes to Sock! Oh, snap! It goes to Sock and the big mana potion on the Mountain King as well. Paladin is here. Stormbolt ravaging these fiends. We got the orb progging instantly. -1 fiend. -2 fiends. And he can't even go for the Dark Ritual right there. Dude, Sock is playing out of his freaking mind today. So good. We go for a Crypt Lord now. And Abomination. And Disease Cloud. After all the good things that happened, by the way. Mwah, Chef Kiss. Gyro Scouting. He's still not out of harm's way. But the levels speak volumes. Stormbolt. There's an Ankh. You gotta check. There's an Ankh. Oh, debut Impale. Big impact, but the Mountain King brought some hammers. If only at level 3, eh? What are we going for? The Fiends again? The A-bombs? What's it gonna be? Crypt Lord? My dude, you're saving 120's game right now. Trying to retreat against an Orb of Slow ain't that easy. Clap is lovely as another source of crowd control. Coil ready, Stormbolt as well. That Crippy has an Ankh, but that might open up the way to kill the DK. If we have more mana and we just chuck that potion. Ankh gone. Supply still in favor of Sock, but it's knights everywhere. What would this game be without that goddamn Crypt Lord? DK is blocked by the Mountain King, is blocked by the Knight. Gets a potion pass. Well done. Mountain King on the menu now. We don't have a staff ready. Holy Light is ready. Staff ready in a second now as well. But then the Mountain King will be benched for a very, very long time. The tools for 120 have finally come together. And now the game is turning around a little bit. A little bit. We still got strong Knights. Super sturdy, but without the hero support. What is this really? If you can get 1 or 2 more kills, that'd be grand. Paladin. I love the safe Paladin position here behind the Murloc hut. Can still throw the Holy Light. Instant target. No travel time. And he was safe from any nukes. Smart. 1,000 gold on Sock. I wonder in a situation like this, is it worth building 1 or 2 tanks and send them here? They will have low upgrades. But at least it would keep 120 busy while you yourself could creep. But what do I know? XP now in the hands of 120. Shop control might be important. Yeah, we need that inborn. Oh, do we need that inborn?
A player's forces
But 120 is getting
attack.
red spots. It's a very monothematic army though. Impale is getting better. Destroyers are coming. I don't know, guys. I got this feeling. This 120 feeling. He has done some magic.
RSK just made Fetterman a health food TV.
Bro, we live in a world where I don't know if that's true or not, but if it's true, I wouldn't be surprised. We got the brilliant Zora, by the way. We got the brilliant Zora. And that is insane for 120's heroes.
The town is under siege.
On the other side, more HP and more intelligence for the dwarf. Town portal available. Double staff. Double evasion actually really nice on MK and Paladin. Siege is on.
Player's forces are under attack.
Third attack upgrade on Knights. And he's forcing 120 back. Do we take this fight? Oh, he's jumping right on top of him! Any blizzards? Damn, this would have been sick. Or any claps, but no, the only crowd control is Impale. It feels like Sock is fumbling this fight a little bit, but the Fiends are up for grabs here. 120 trying to kite. He has some of the best Fiend micro in the world. Amplified with the Crypt Lord, with the spikes. The Knights will hurt themselves alongside the Disease Cloud. That is a lot of damage over time. And target fire on the underside, of course. Noise. Impale just intensifies. Knights up in the air. Supply numbers look fine. Both are replenishing. 5 statues soon. Is the damage output by 120 enough? The clap is good. Level 2. That didn't look like level 2 actually. And Lich level 5, of course. The weapon of mass destruction. What the Mountain King was a couple of patches ago. Definitely the Lich still is. Coil defensively. Pally, 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 pally! The staff wasn't ready by a split second, and now the healer is gone. The evasion didn't trigger. I think if the evasion triggers once, oh no, Sock, everything's falling apart. It's a nice zebra head song, but not what we wanted to see here in game 2. Oh, what a fall from grace, man. That fight, I think if he just portals out, he has a nice late game. If he keeps on trading. Oh no. And that knight as well for free. Oh no. Everything in shambles. Everything in shambles.
A player's forces are under attack.
Sock had a bit of a bank, was able to rebuild. It felt like the first 5 to 7 seconds of that fight were just squandered, unfortunately. And the biggest mana potions. These abominations. You have one to spread disease? Alright, I eat the rest for Nova. And Clap can't contest. 120 we have to say though. As much as we want Sock to win, right? 120 is playing extraordinary Warcraft, has reached another level as a competitor. And is not getting distressed anymore by early games where you can't get that expo up for free. This is a lot of kills here though, we have to say. If these 2 Fiends fall as well, that'd be grand. We got a Mountain King Tavern revive. We got a Paladin Holy Light. We got great staffs. I gave this game up. Sock didn't. And again, the question, do we have a staff for the Mountain King? We do. Also, Holy Light. Holy shit, these Impales. Usually we rave about this Lich all the time. I have to rave about this Crypt Lord. What a Crypt Lord. Unreal. Now we fight on Blight as well. 1-0. This is exactly where he wanted him. One split Knight would be amazing. To pressure the Acolytes. Oh my god. Oh my god. This is disgusting. This is disgusting! With the heal scroll, I think Sok would be in fighting shape, but he doesn't have that heal scroll. He doesn't have the in-fight healing. But guess what? The Undead has statues. And they're healing the entire freaking time. And not only is Sok not healing, Sok is also taking damage. Still 1,000 gold on Sok. Archmage, Town Portal out now. He wanted some more presence. He wanted some damage. The Knight! The Knight actually did it! Okay. This base is not mining. It's 2 base, 2 base. At even food at 1,200 gold. We're scouting here for another human expansion. We're scouting here for any drops. 1-0 now, willing to fight on the Sok's home turf, as he knows, of course, Disease Cloud is doing a lot of damage, and you can one-shot peasants so bad. Can you heal up in time? With just one... How much gold? 230. It's not worth holding this gold mine. I don't think. He's flanking. The cavalry is coming. Trying to free half of his army from Impale. But if you just look at these armies, man, it's the same supply almost. But the human army just looks a lot smaller. 11 workers left. That's not much. And I think this flank idea... Not sure. Any Hail Marys, maybe. The DK has an Invo Potion. The Lich has a Town Portal. The Crypt Lord is sturdy AF. The Fiends are so well distributed, so the clap doesn't hit them too well. Knights are streaming in now, trying to dodge some impales with at least a couple of units, so the Knights are not clumped up always. You have 4 free Knights, 3 slowed Knights. But the Disease Cloud. That freaking Disease Cloud. Oh my god, that impale. That was the last one though. 87 food, with a lot of that food in production. If that production arrives, I think that's the knockout punch. We are running out of gold here. And this army will surely overtower. At the moment we are not mining, or just barely mining. So the high upkeep doesn't matter too much. I feel like Sok wants to hold this as long as possible. And he gets the Unholy Aura. So he was basically fighting without 16 food of his army here. Any nukers? Any novas? The Lich is full mana. Now level 6. Everything is heard. Fly! Fly, you fools! Love that Stormbolt to slows down the Lich, as the Lich is, of course, slowing down the enemy army himself. Sok still has 1,000 gold, but he has to rebuild 20 food. What do you do with the last 1,000 gold? He will not mine the 160. 1-0, Expo, empty, empty, empty. That was such a game-saving move to kill the Haunted. But what's the play now? We throw everything at this human base. And we make sure that the enemy has to defend, so we get our Expo up. Flying machines do flying machine things. Scout. And soon he will know. The Rohirrim are ready again. And you know what? This is not a great situation for 1-2-0. The clap hits nicely. Mountain King still in the back. 1-2-0 trying to reassess the front lines here. But the army is so small. What's the Hail Mary? You need one. Of course, it's hard to tap out of a game like this where the early game was so good. Clap good. Clap real good. Still 500 Warcraft dollars in the bank. Can he prevent a coil? Is the DK running out of mana at any time? Is there a nuke? We didn't get level 4 the entire game. That is nuts, and the Paladin is falling into the nuke. Coil Nova, game over, isn't it? We have no Tavern Revive. We get a couple of kills. Now it's level 4. Now Stormbolt is meaningful. But we also have Death Pact level 3. Dark Ritual level 3, I'm sorry. Dark Ritual level 3. And it's just infinite mana alongside the statues, alongside the pipe. Unbreakable 1-2-0.
Players' forces are
How
under attack.
far was he behind? And yeah, this is the giveaway. And here comes the Punisher. You can just spam. 37,000 damage. Just have to point this out because these numbers are... I mean, it's not even among the top 5 of liches that we've seen in the past few weeks. It is still more than all the human heroes combined, which, you know, is just the nature of the heroes' roles also. But yeah, 1-2-0 is mining. 1-2-0 is 25 food ahead. 1-2-0 has 6, almost 5. And Sock doesn't have a win condition.
A player's forces are under attack.
I think it was all this fight here, man. That fight was so botched and it threw Sock back into the Stone Age. He had to rebuild everything. Triple expand versus human, lol. Oh, you might be an old school fan, eh? Where the undeads were playing Tet Fiend timing pushes with destroyers. Or destroyer ghoul pushes. Because nothing else worked. Yeah, things have changed, man. Things have changed. 2 weeks ago, we saw Labyrinth with 6 expansions on Turtle Rock. A map where it's not supposed to be expandable. GG! 1-2-0, man. So hard to beat. So hard to beat. One botched fight, and the momentum is in the undead side, and damn do these guys scale crazy. Also, not only this one botched fight, I also think the Crypt Lord had a performance of a lifetime in the fight on the left-hand side where Sock tried to break him. These impales saved 1-2-0's game. Beautiful. From the undead perspective. Crypt Lord third, 12k damage, right? Amazing. And that's once again one of these 1-2-0 twists. Like, he sees a matchup and he thinks, okay, things are going all right. But I have this idea. Let me put this out there. You want to go Mass Knights? Okay, like everybody is going Dark Ranger. You know what? I do respect the Stormbolt Clap Holy Light combo and also Blizzard. I respect that other people go Silence against that. But you know what's really, 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 really good against ground? The Crippy. You want to nuke my Crypt Lord? A strength hero? With 1,000 health? With your laughable Stormbolt and Holy Light? We ain't doing that. And then the Crypt Lord dominates. Gotta think about that. It's great. It's great. It's Warcraft o'clock. Robert! Hello. Isn't it always Warcraft o'clock, dude? When you tune into the stream? It always is. Players are ready. We're probably waiting for the Chinese stream to do the advertisement, so I take that as well. If you guys like what we do for 825 days in a row, and experienced viewers know what time it is, we love your support. We love your support, and we especially love your support if it's without extra cost. So you can throw us a like, you can follow us on our channels, you can comment on our content, especially on YouTube. That is insanely helpful. Goes also for the stream, by the way. Interact with the stream, boost up the numbers. And what we also love is Prime subs. If you have Amazon Prime, you can connect it to your Twitch. No extra cost, but you get 1 sub for free. No ads and great support for us. Cheers. With that said, we have a 2-0 score. Sock defeated Moon as the first player after 29 series in that matchup. He also defeated Life, the second best Night Elf in this matchup. But here comes a different matchup. And Sock, you know, long day. Doesn't look tired. Still plays a great game. But 1-2-0 is just out of his world at the moment, man. It was noticeable in the series versus Lin yesterday. How freaking good this guy is, man. Not only does he bring in great ideas, he's also microing the frick out of these units. This is just a world-class competitor. Three maps to go. Then I shall present my little balance ideas that I collected over the last few weeks. And then we'll have some chat interaction, shall we? So, Sock, can he put his name on the board? Do you still believe in the hero of this afternoon? We stay with Archmage and we stay with Lich. Sometimes you lean into certain maps like the Night Elves do with their keeper plays, especially here. But let's be honest, there's no incentive to go for anything but the Lich. What's the Lich first idea? Versus human only? Or, well, you can play it versus Night Elf as well, but most usage versus human. Humans always go for Archmage because Water Elementals are so good at delaying undead expansions and no other hero is. So it's set in stone that human goes Archmage. Archmage is not really a damage dealer, so you can support a Lich, who is very fragile, a big glass cannon. Fragile but huge damage. Usually you'd suffer from not having healing, but ghouls can heal in the base with the rotation. You also have a ritual dagger, and you usually put so much pressure on the human that you yourself can get your expo up and kill a lot of units. And from level 4 on, he got almost infinite mana via Dark Ritual. And then he rises up to 30, 40, 50,000 damage a game. And that's pretty good.
Forces are under attack.
As oh damn, claws +8 is not a good sign for Sock. That is a lot of damage. But instead of the expo, we attack the main here. Forcing a tower, forcing extra resources. Neat idea. 1-2-0 had Sock had some tricky ideas in some of the last matches versus Happy. And my god. They got slapped down. Against 1-2-0? This might work. You get some kills. Besides skeletons, which units do you take with Dark Ritual? For mana, definitely Abominations in the late game. They have so much HP. Ooh, Nova. They have so much HP and give you a lot of mana. And in general, skeletons are good. Ghouls in the are also pretty good. See what I mean with like the Lich is doing good damage? The Lich is doing an insane amount of damage. And usually you Dark Ritual whatever the enemy is killing, so the enemy doesn't get the XP.
Town is under siege.
Yeah, guys, it's hard to sell you as a caster that this is still an open game. It is.
A player's forces are under attack.
And that's unfortunately the second Archmage loss in this series early on at a crucial moment. And now the ghouls are hard to control. You gotta wait 40 seconds for this Archmage. Yep. That's a reasonable 4-minute GG. That's a reasonable 4-minute GG. The Lich takes over completely. And 1-0 wins the series. Yep, it's not the golden day that we were hoping for. It is not Sock breaking through 2 problematic matchups. Nope, it's the 1-2-0 dominance. It's the undead dominance as well that we've seen in the past couple of weeks. 1-2-0 and Happy also are just destroying the competition left and right. No matter the matchup, no matter the opponent, no matter the map, they own hard, man. And yeah, Sock, you know, after 6 hours of gaming, might be a bit tired. It's past 1 a.m. in China also, so maybe he's getting a little tired. We are all humans, right? We're all humans. Can't be like, if you're not happy, you can't be perfect every day. I think we will still celebrate the games versus Moon. Shadowed Exile is next. Where's Happy in this cup? I don't know. He was invited, did decline. But since he never talks, we don't know. But I know that we got a game on a beautiful map. Can we do some result cosmetics? Can Sock get some money for the map wins? That is hard to recover, man. Map 2 was in the palm of Sock's hands. He couldn't push it over the finish line. And then map 3 is 4 minutes 45 seconds, dude. But thank you 1-0. I was trying to make a point why Lich is so good and you played a perfect Lich game. Thank you for that. Now, this is a big map, but oftentimes the early plays around the shops left and right and the green spot in the middle. So I think there should be less expansion cancelling, but rather creep route contesting. Meanwhile, the humans perma losing to Night Elf. Oh! Don't say it that way! Sock 1-2 series today. Moon at life. But yeah, we stick with Archmage, not even on Shattered Exile, where for a while it wasn't that clear what the perfect opener is. Should you play Crypt Lord? Should you play maybe even Dreadlord?
player's
we were
forces are under
contemplating
attack.
this for like a week, and then it was clear, you know, Lich. Because why not? Look at my Lich. My Lich is amazing. Doesn't even have a horse. Still true. But yeah, guys, my ideas that I will present to you after this series will fix everything. Because my ideas are obviously the best ideas. Don't let Remo tell you otherwise. Or Grubby. No, no, no. People should listen exclusively to me. So we clean this up. No power build currently, but there it is.
Town is under siege.
Is steel here? It's impossible. Play around this. People got so good at contesting creeps, man. It's laughable. But we still have a water elemental. We still got 2 footmen. And that is 2 water elementals. That's definitely a cancel. Okay! Exclamation mark suck!
A player's forces are
And this
under
time it
attack.
feels like it didn't even cost too much. Expo attempt number 2. We do not have a water elemental currently, but in 2-1 now. Extra mining. Needs a little bit of lumber. And then we're good to go. And of course, peasant production. Peasant production has to ramp up instantly.
A player's forces are under attack.
So let's go already. Pretty passive. Great scouting again. Use the skeletons while you may. But the bases look fine.
Are under attack.
You should be a bit scared when you see this bunch of ghouls though. Don't get surrounded, thank you. Feels like Sock stepped off the gas a bit too much. He is now facing a level 3 Lich. He gave that Lich the time, who also positioned himself quite defensively. What did Sock accomplish here? Tech timing. That's what he got. But no creeping, no progress. Militia creep, okay. And, oh, a Shredder. Okay, that's nice. That's really nice, actually.
Player's forces are under attack.
So you don't have to build too many peasants. You can tech faster because the Shredder is solving all the lumber for you. Are we getting Acolyte kills now? Anything that slows 1-0 down. Tech is running for a while. Oh my god. On both sides, though.
Town is under siege. A player's forces are under attack.
So way faster than earlier. Shredder can also help you in the defense. And thanks to the Shredder, this run by is not even that meaningful. We got to run by here. We got to run by here. Ghouls falling on both sides. So are the peasants. Another ghoul down, but denied. That's the power of the Dark Ritual. Prevent that Archmage level 3. We got more footies here, dude. Sock is quite an arsonist, but 1-0, not innocent either. The Shredder has to go back to lumber ASAP. He lost a bunch of peasants. He's losing lumber income, but 1-0 losing gold income. All the acolytes off the grid. shop almost there, but still 25 seconds we have to wait. Good challenge, Sock. Very good. Operating at 3 screens at the same time. Screen 1, screen 2, screen 3. Not easy. Not easy at all.
A player's forces are under attack.
Where's the next attack gonna end up on? Mountain King tier 3. I don't think he has to be afraid of like big attacks. He's trying to shark for the slaughterhouse. I don't hate that. He's a bit too early actually. 40 has shown recently that attacking acolytes instead of like buildings is a very effective way of dealing with mining. And I think Sock is stepping into the footsteps a little bit. Would love to see a staff. Whoa, okay, stroke, old man. What the hell? Has the water elemental for a counter surround already, and again he proceeds to kill so many ghouls.
A player's forces are under attack.
Another ghoul dead. How many are left? 7. Surround maybe? Oh, Lich has no TP. Got him. Trying to fight out. Gets the coil. Missed the coil. Oh, 1-0 with the first flaw of the game. Here's the coil. No way. Stumbled, stumbled, stumbled. Ready in 4. No way. Oh, man. This is heartbreaking. 1-0 is fighting for every single dollar here. Oh my god. Stumbled, but there's more coils. Oh no. That can break you on a map when this happens. Just psychologically, you find this moment, you put on so much pressure, you have this amazing early game, you kill ghouls, 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 and then you're going for that almost knockout punch.
A player's forces are under
1-0 would have needed some smelling salt after that Lich goes down. And then you miss the kill shot. Oh, we are going Griffin. Sock is getting a bit experimental. Lots of people thought the day in... And that deny is all like... He enabled this last hit, right? A lot of people said the times of Griffins are over with the rise of the Lich, because Lich is so good against air as they all clump up. But Infi and Sock still sometimes trying. And you know what? I don't hate it. The damage output is good. The mobility is great. Especially if you find a way to attack statues. Downside, 1-0 always has backup statues. Ooh! And it's of course wonderful versus Crypt Lord, right?
The player's forces are under attack.
Is the Age of Menace over? The time of the Undead has come? Oh, did Remo quote Lord of the Rings when Moon's dominance was over today? LOL, creep to the fiend. Fiend to the creep. That would have been the moment for the Lord of the Ring reference. If not, shame on him. Oh, King only level 2. Agility. Oh, impale to buy some space. It doesn't matter, man. It doesn't matter.
Forces are under attack.
Hey, Mr. Witty! Stay around and listen, guys. We have an amazing show match here with some banger games, Human and Undead. And I will present my balance suggestions afterwards. Warcraft 3 is a simple game of 80 versus 80 food, and at the end, the undead wins. Actually, Young Feng, I said that this week in a cast. Similar to this. So far, it is true. It is true. I did. Yeah, I did.
A town is under siege.
I can't help it, man. I feel like I'm watching a bit of World Cup pre-coverage, and then the football comes into my head. And then, you know, this just makes sense to include into Warcraft as well. We play some laming griffins. Forcing town portals, doing economy damage. Sock still has a very valid chance to win this. The big downside is the Lich already has 11,000 damage. And we're approaching level 5. That's some nice volleys here. Is that enough is the question. Because when the griffins are here, they can't creep. Oh, he has a second squad actually for creeping. Oh, I like this. He does turn a blind eye to the third base because it's also very unusual timing for the third base. Zapper! Man! Desperate times, huh? Desperate times.
A player's forces are under attack.
And here comes 1-0 with the first bigger push of the game. Onto the Expo. No, like, death by 1,000 cuts harasses. Just a full-out attack. Oh, he's so close. He's so close. He doesn't know. He doesn't know.
A player's forces are under attack.
Expo still up, but semi-broken. Now we got web. How good is the focus fire? Suck. Reward yourself somehow. Reward yourself. For that, you have to shut down that Lich, I guess. Fiend numbers dwindling. Mountain King mana numbers really good. He doesn't have a potion, but maybe he doesn't need that. Crypt Lord about to die. Fiend's dying. The coil goes to the Fiend, actually, to have a little bit more control for these Griffins. Clap, clappity, clap, clap that Crypt Lord. And maybe in the end, it doesn't matter that this expansion was ravaged. He just has to kill the Lich. Maybe with the Holy Light, but the coil is ready this time. Now also the Griffin numbers are dwindling. We still have the Lich. The game isn't over until the Lich is dead. But it's getting harder and harder to attack. Fiends are coming in. Nova again. 16,000 damage. And Gyro's in now as well. Was this the last coil? Not even, dude. Not even. He's trying to move. We're fighting into the undead base now. Never fight into an undead base is what they say! Got him! The damage output finally big enough, and that is usually the carry of the undead, and 1-0 realizes this as well. Shattered Exile, Shattered Undead. Damn, that was a great early game. Despite letting the Lich slip. Griffins, man. Freaking Griffins. I like this strat. Maybe, you know, maybe I'm leaning myself a little too far out the window, but hear me out. Mass Griffins, greater Mass Knights. But maybe that's just me. He fooled 120 quite good by going Cryptlord into Griffins. That's not what you want as the undead. And then that Cryptlord was kind of useless. And I think, yes, the Lich is insane against Griffins. Very, very, very much so. Still, are knights able to get to the targets they want? Are knights able to kill what they are supposed to kill? And is that maybe more doable for the Griffins? I don't know. No, in my balance suggestions, I will not say nerf Griffins, boys. That game will not change that. Oh, 3 and 1. Sorry. Shattered Exile, man. Bigger map, plays entirely different. We need more map variety as well. Can I view these games in Flow TV? Oh, someone is not satisfied with my in-game camera. What did I ever do wrong, man? What did I try so hard every day. No, they are played on the Chinese server. Game up. Those are quite quick. Not like Northern Isles was very long. I wanted to see the step by step. I see. I'm just kidding, mate. I'm just kidding. I don't think people who are low MMR shouldn't comment on balance. You didn't even hear my opinion yet. Why criticize before hearing the opinions, bro? We got 120 left hand side, Sock right hand side. Can he get another map like Lawlion did against Kaho? That was cool. We are on Tide Hunters though, and that is a super easy to expand on map. You can then play high tempo Lich. Isn't Alchemist good against Lich? Why?
A player's forces are under attack.
AoE healing. Okay, I see. Problem with that is Nova does the damage instantly. The AoE healing comes in waves. I don't think you cover that fast enough before the kill comes in.
A player's forces are under attack.
Alchemist would have high HP, which is in general good versus undead. But you also have to be in range. Oh, we have an aggressive Archmage. Look at that. Level 1 harass. Did someone try that on like higher-ish level ladder? I don't hate the idea per se. I like the acid bomb. Maybe the regen of undead is too good for acid bomb actually. But damn, I like this Archmage, I have to say. Look at that. Level 1 Archmage aggression. If he gets the Ziggurat, it's huge. Oh, come on. Kill him. Kill it. No repair. Footy, go. Go, Footy, go. Go. Footy, be good. Oh, shit. 1-0 is in a bit of trouble here. Ghouls, of course, trying to open up the field. So the Blight is still there, but this means, of course, 1-0 can't go higher than 30. Footies are back. Footies are back. Bro, how is this aggressive Archmage looking so good for now? Levels are, of course, missing, and it is very unfortunate for Sock that he's missing 5 XP or something. Like 1 ghoul, 1 skeleton for the level up. You would... I guess you need the Brilliance Aura. Oh, and the ghouls are back. And there's no tower. So yeah, this looked good for a bit. We got a Nova, we got a Nova, we got... Oh no, we got a Nova. Doesn't use it. Nobody has an expansion, really. But the slaughter is immense. 0.6 of a level.
Players' forces are under attack. A town is under siege.
Is that too late level? Oh, Footy at the base. This is nice. Very, very hurt ghouls after these attacks. But yeah, it's nice. Oh my god, that Nova again. Archmage, I think, has to be more careful. We have a shop. Does it matter? We have no shop. Okay, this game's doomed. We have no Haunted. There will be... Wait! What? This is finished? Didn't expect that. When will this pay off? I don't freaking know. Is Lich getting... Lich is getting boots, huh? Can you wake up the creeps? Wake up the creeps! Wake up the creeps! Wake up the creeps! Is he stuck? Oh, Lich too thin. Whoa. Oh god, what the fuck is this game? There's a high chance this game is over in like a minute. Or less. Or less. Or less. Oh, not getting Brilliance Aura really ruined his game. Dude, it's so sad. Suck is playing well.
A player's forces are under attack.
But then he's exposed to one of the next 1-0 attacks. Boom. And now, when everything is safe and sound and the Lich is getting stronger and faster and hits harder, now it's time for the Expo that was threatened so much. And I don't think Sock has the same recoverability. I didn't get anything back from this first one, right? It's the Lit Show, everybody.
A player's forces are under attack.
Mad respect for Sock that after this series, still hanging in there, still fighting, still trying everything. He got great inventory. Double claw gloves. Very good right clicks. The Makrura doesn't hit hard enough. Hit harder. Snipe him. But he has bullets, he can just run away. Water Elise? Oh no, the Scroll of Healing again, dude. This is like the third time in this series that the Scroll of Healing, the early Scroll of Healing also, saves 1-0. Surely worth the investment. I haven't seen this development before, like going this early for a scroll.
A player's forces are under attack.
And guess who's back?
A player's forces are under attack.
Oh, shit. You get some kills here and there, right? But you need mining time and you need lumber. Holy shit, Sock is tier 1, no lumber. 1-0 is teching for a while now. This is 9 minutes 30 tier 1 and he still needs like another minute to get the lumber if he is able to chop a bit.
A town is under siege.
GG. Yeah. This is understandable. It's understandable, guys. It's understandable. What can we say? What can we say? What can we say? Ah, damn. It was a good idea, man. I like that he throws in the aggressive Archmage here. I think it's very reasonable within a series to try this. We have seen humans being successful while being aggressive. But yeah, tapping out here is understandable. All right. That's it. Sock's perfect day was ruined, guys. Sock's perfect day was ruined by 1-0. Again, the undeads, man. The goddamn undeads are performing way too good right now. 4-1, 1-0. Cements his status as the top 2 player in the world. Rightfully so. Rightfully so. Expo was a mistake, in my opinion. That's so funny. Yesterday we had someone in chat being very sure that if you don't expand early, you're dumb. And now we get the opposite. Nah, I think you have to Expo. That's just the meta. This is just the meta. So yeah, I picked the perfect evening while we have a riled up chat from the human versus undead games. That's always the most polarizing matchup that we got, I feel. To talk balance. Yay! Yoo-hoo! How do you balance Undead as a race for beginners, but and the pro level at the same time? Listen to me! I cover this. That guy looked at the initial cost of an expo and directly thought it's cheap and easy life. Yeah, I think he... Like, opportunity cost is not something that he considered. All right, so... I'm listening. We'll see, we'll see. Wait, I have to check if everything is in. Yep. Caribbean voice of reason. Oh man, I don't know if I'm mentally ready, guys. I don't know. I've started WordPads 2 weeks ago or something. Just as notes. Like, this could be, this could be, this could be. All of a sudden, I had a gigantic WordPad and everything was all over the place. So I thought, okay, I'm going to break it down to like 5 things. And I kind of wrote a script. It's like, if you mention this, you have to note this down as well. And then you have to mention this. So it only makes sense if you put in this, but in consideration with this. So from the 5 things that I wanted, it turned into like 20. And then I had to boil it down again. So emote only, not a bad idea. No, I think I'll just go into like YouTuber mode and will not listen to chat. So it's a presentation. And then I can still read back because I use Chatterino. So I can just go through your entire feedback. Because I don't want to expect from you to take notes, right? There will be a handout at the end. There will be a handout at the end. You don't have to take notes. You can. You can. But yeah, I thought about this quite a bit. I thought about how wild would I want to be. I have some wild ideas that I held back. How long is this gonna take? So Remo said his feedback is gonna last maybe 3 hours. That's crazy. 3 hours is mental. My will be a lot shorter. I don't know how long though. Is this relevant for the exams? Yes. Where's the overhead projector? I'd love this. 3 hours, make it a Netflix series, yes. Okay. Okay. Yes, this is relevant. Okay. I'm gonna close chat now. And we're gonna start. All right, ladies and gentlemen. Oh, thank you, X-Ray, for the 43. All right, ladies and gentlemen, it is time. It is that time of the year. We in the Warcraft scene are being supported by Blizzard with updates mostly twice a year, and those updates come every 6 months, more or less. It is soon time that a PTR will hit us, most likely, as we are approaching that time of the year. The last patch hit us in January, and the last PTR hit us in December. So I think it's time as a community to gather our thoughts and write down what we think about the balance of this game in terms of fairness, in terms of creativity, what we're missing, what we think is too strong, of course, as well, what's oppressive, what's frustrating. Gather that all so Blizzard can pick whatever they like best. So me and Remo will provide these videos. I have to say that my view on things is vastly different from Remo's. I will go into that in a little bit. But while we're on this patch note thingy, 6 months is too long for a patch, Blizzard. It is too long. I think there is a big fatigue right now, and it has been the case in previous balance patches as well. Sometimes more, sometimes less. 6 months for a patch is exactly 1 month too long. So I would love this to be reduced, the patch cycle shortened. You can always argue, well, balance has to settle. Yeah, it does. And faster than maybe 2 years ago, we get into a very rhythmic game of people. The beginning of a patch is always the most exciting, right? Because we get these new tools and we tinker with them and new toys. Everything is shiny. And we see a lot of creativity and changes. And at some point in the patch cycle, it's you turn a knob and it's all about timings. And this is where I think the game becomes a bit boring. So Blizzard, if you have the capacity, 1 month less would be amazing. Thank you. So what I like to address, and here is where my presentation is probably a little different from Remo's presentation, is I look at the power level at the elite of Warcraft 3. Some people call it top level. Some people say tournament environment, whatever. Like, the best players this game has to offer obviously have to be viewed when we talk about balance. There's a couple of people say these are the only players that should be regarded when it comes to balance. I think that is nonsense. We are not in a position where we have infinite players and we know that the players that we have will play forever. So I think we have to cherish the players that we have, especially on the level high on the ladder, but below the top level of the international competition. And also the players on 1800 MMR. And you know, also the players on 1000 MMR. This is oftentimes what I address as like reduce frustration. Because yes, the argument could be just get good. But you know, these people then will not get good. They will play other games. And we don't want that. If something is causing friction, like a Pally rifle did, this should be addressed. And just because one player in the world can deal with that doesn't mean that it's okay. So I want to propagate a little more of the top of the community and also the Blizzard devs listening to players below the elite level. I think that is absolutely necessary if we still want Warcraft players in 5 years. I also want to see a lot of variety. I think the game has done big leaps forward when it comes to variety. We see a lot more openings. We see a lot more viable heroes. For most of the races, we also see a lot more unit variety. This patch brought undead necromancers versus night elf, for example, something that we haven't seen. Or on the ladder, you see a lot of tauren and stuff like that, right? So variety is usually good. As I say, I want to reduce frustration. I don't think on this patch necessarily we have a lot of things that are causing frustration, but surely some, and we can attack that. And I also want to see innovation. Ideally, we buff stuff that's rarely used, and then that opens up a couple of synergies and we see things that we haven't seen before. Prime example was Dark Ranger openings for a human player in the last patch. So that would be cool as well. Just in general, what I like about the game, what I don't like about the game, I like if a race has an identity. This game is an asymmetric, balanced game, unlike a Command & Conquer, for example, where every race should have their identity. And just because one race can expand at minute 1.5 shouldn't mean that every race should be able to do this. If one race is very good at nuking, it doesn't mean that every race should be good at nuking. Every race should have tools to counter what the other races offer, but not every race should be the same. I like fighting over stalling because stalling is boring and fighting is fun. I like soft timings where you get an upgrade and you have a power spike. I don't like hard timings where you have one timing in a strategy and that's either do or don't. These binary timings is not kind of my approach to the game that I like to see, but other people see that differently, so I definitely have a tolerance for that. I like variety in armies. I think the more units are present of an army, the better it is for the army and the better it should be for the army. I think a human army gets fun when you add mortar teams. I think a night elf army is getting fun when you add talents of fairy dragons, or an undead army is getting more fun when you add a worm or banshees, you know, like if you broaden the playing field. I hate monodimensional armies, monothematic armies, if it's only rifles, only knights. And of course, there are a couple of other examples for this as well, right? So this is my approach. I like if there's skill expression. I like if decision making and strategy and creativity is rewarded. And I like if you can do tech switches, which is a development that we see more and more in comparison to games to years prior, but it's still not where it could be. So I do like this. And I don't like repetition when one build can be played the entire time and it's always the same result, like it's oftentimes been with a rifle caster push, which in general is a good strategy, but it's just not much fun. Undead on elite level. Oh, this is getting divisive, and a lot of people will, of course, target this as the #1 thing to address, because the undeads are winning a lot of tournaments in the ELO ranking. 1-0 and Happy are dominating the level of playing field. Nobody really comes close. It has become really rare that the undeads are losing any series, and you can say, yeah, take Happy out, he's the anomaly, but then there's still 1-0, right? This discussion goes in circles, but it's undeniable that Undead is performing really, really, really good on the highest level of Warcraft 3 that we have in the scene. And every single build is a ghoul build. You can play the ghoul build with quite some variety. You can tech, you can be aggressive, you can creep, you can expand, you can do everything. And it has been pushed to a limit where you can do everything at any given time. Especially with expansions, in some matchups, you see expansions on tier 1, you see expansions on tier 2, you see expansions on tier 3, whenever. Ghouls with normal damage type and high mobility, plus either movement speed buff via Unholy Aura, or movement speed nerf of the opponent via Nova or Frost Armor, have crazy mobility, high map presence, good creep speed, good damage to buildings, good damage to heroes with normal damage type. With that early game, plus skeletons that goes into the same vein as ghouls, Undeads always get the necessary levels whenever they need them and convert the early advantage into a tier 3 where they are the strongest, oftentimes with frenzy timings, destroyer timings, whatever. High level heroes, of course, Coil Nova, game over, you know it. That has been the case for a long time. And I think it's too much. And then this is the question, how do you address it? Do you address it via heroes? Do you address it via units? I think we experimented with ghoul nerfs and people didn't like this. Undead heroes also have been nerfed quite a bit. You can say nerf statues, they provide a lot, but that changes only the mid and late game, but not the early game, which to me is the essential problem right now. So I personally, my observation, and people can say this is wrong and people can say there's different reason or it's just one of the reasons, but I think we have to talk about regeneration, especially of ghouls on Blight. The ghoul here is displayed as an ice hockey player because that's what you do. You have a group of ghouls. They are, of course, the great fighters that I just explained, but they are also responsible for the lumber income, so there are always some ghouls in the main. If your ghouls on the fields are getting hurt, you send them home, you let them regen on Blight with 2 HP per second, and then you bring them back to the battlefield, and you have this rotation the entire time. In comparison, a footman is regenerating for 0.25 HP per second. So this is an extraordinary regen that you get. You can argue, well, but outside of Blight, ghouls don't have regen. Well, that's only partially true, as you do have an undead unholy aura going on most of the time. And since one of the recent patches, you have the ritual dagger, which gives you 5.4 HP per second. And if you add that, that is 7 HP per second. And that makes it so that a ghoul basically heals from 0 to 100 in 40 seconds. This is crazy, boys. That's nuts, man. I do like that there is a skill expression in you do send the ghoul back, and it is work to send them back, pull them, right? That's something you have to do. That's extra clicks, that's extra attention. But it is, in my opinion, a bit too much, and it is a bit too fast. Everybody also knows that the undead base is hard to conquer and basically unconquerable. The lumber economy is basically untargetable. And also acolytes with their buffed speed in a patch previously are very, very hard to kill. So I think nerf Blight regeneration for ghouls and acolytes is a good thing. I wouldn't say no to a movement speed for acolytes, but just barely. But yeah, to me, the core problem is the ghoul uptime on the map. The DK or Lich can go harass, the ghoul creep, they are hurt, you send them back, couple of seconds later they're in fighting shape again. Huge issue to me, because no other race has this uptime, has the timings, and can basically do in the early game whatever they want. This also means we don't have to deal with -1 damage, +1 damage, plus attack speed, minus attack speed, stuff like that, right? I also think this helps to weaken the top level undead players without touching lower level undead players who suffer quite a bit because they mostly are not playing ghouls. And that leads me to Dark Ritual level 2. It is not rare to see a Lich as an opener these days. It is a reliable range opener, which is always good. Chip damage, you know, Nova is one of the best spells in the game. It has great burst, great AoE. Lich itself is fragile, but it's rarely contested, as you can slow down your opponent. You can nuke him and threaten him away. And it is supported by ghouls and skeletons, who then add to that damage. The issue would be mana, because you have to support that Nova, right? As every other hero has to support their spells. We have Dark Ritual, and that is a lot of mana that you get back. So on level 1, I think it's all right. You get like half a Nova from a skeleton. or basically a Nova from a Ghoul if they are full HP. With Dark Ritual level 2, this intensifies big time. You basically get a Nova for 1 skeleton, and you always have skeletons because skeletons are so freaking good. This is too much, man. I don't really hate the Dark Ritual level 1. From level 2 on, it's just ridiculous. And there's another little bit of an issue. Because this level 4 is such a power spike on a Lich from a player who constantly uses Dark Ritual, level 4 is usually not a power spike in the development of a game for a player. You get your level 3, you get your level 5, and that is big power spikes. The level 2 on your secondary spell is like nice to have deluxe edition. For Lich, it's essential. So your power spike is hitting when the enemy doesn't have a power spike near. So there's of course a big gap then between the power, and that just intensifies the dominance that you got from the early game, allows to transition in everything you want to do in the late game. And this is why I think Dark Ritual 2 and 3 are a problem. You can tackle the conversion rate, you can make this mana regen over time. Whatever you do, you gotta do it, because we have now seen a 70,000 damage Lich recently. That is not normal. It is more common to see a 30,000 damage Lich in the span of the game. And when we hit these numbers, the alarm bells should ring. I also hate shades. I say this a couple of times in my casts already. Shades are an invisible unit that scout your opponent that you get on tier 2. Undead already have wonderful scouting tools, and in the past couple of years I think it has become more and more known that knowledge is power, and people are better in processing the information to punish their opponents harder. So if you scout well and you have good scouting tools that don't cost you a lot of opportunity, that's great. And I think it's just a dumb unit the way it is. You get constant vision, you don't invest too much, it's infinite scouting in the late game. The unit itself is boring AF because it literally doesn't do anything. And for the opponent, it's so hard to catch, man. You can try to detect it with like a dust, but then you have to make sure that the enemy is right where it's at. And then you never know when the next shade is coming. It's dumb. So, and it gives you a huge advantage. You can assess the situation of the game at any given time with a shade. You can creepjack whenever you want. You know, stuff like this. I think it would be good to make the invisibility of the shade an ability. So when the shade comes out of the pit, it's visible. But then you can click on it and it turns invisible with a certain duration. What's the uptime of this? First of all, the invisibility is not infinite. So the enemy knows when you scouted him. I thought at first, maybe make shade a summon that expires would be great, because then you also take the infinite value out of it. But that can lead to a moment where the shade expires and the enemy doesn't know that he scouted you. No, that you scouted him. Maybe that's not great. Maybe it should be an ability. It's a little bit of an extra step. It could reset so the shade itself has longer use case, and it's a skill expression to move the shade away from when the shade becomes visible so the opponent doesn't know. I think that's maybe an interesting take. Ideally, you do something way more crazy with the shades. But yeah, a fun idea would be, like, we have no fear in Warcraft, right? Basically, the opposite of a taunt where the units run away. That's in almost every other game. If the shade becomes visible, it's like a boo of a ghost. I don't know, dude. It's just a stupid idea in my head. But those are the things that I would do to attack power levels of Undead on the pro level. We also have to talk about the level below that, because Undead is a race that has a lot of tools to deal with situations. Undead also is the race where it takes the biggest amount of work and the biggest skills to use the right tool at the right moment. And that is incredibly hard to make work. This is a distribution on people on the ladder. You can see in the bottom part of that table, undead, like at the bottom level of War 3 champions, the race distribution is fairly even. Orc is a bit favored. I would say Fastia Headhunter is a very nice build to get started. And it's also, I think, the grubby factor. That he is, of course, the biggest star in Warcraft in the Western scene. So a lot of people want to be like grubby and pick Orc. That is my explanation to why the Orc numbers in general are higher. What we see, though, is that the other races are fairly even distributed. There was a thing going on saying, like, people don't play undead because they don't like the aesthetics or something. But no, it's not the case. People start playing undead. But from the transition from gold to platinum, which is around 1400, 1500 MMR, people drop undead like flies. And this is what separates a casual player from a above average player, and an above average player from a very good player. Reaching these levels is apparently so hard for undeads. And I think this is exactly the border between Fiend builds being viable and Fiend builds not being viable. I think there is a recipe for a beginner build. And it's fairly simple. You want a range hero because it's easier to keep them alive than a melee hero. And targeting is easier too. You ideally want a tanky summon with you, like Water Elemental, for example, that can help you creeping, that the enemy has to deal with, so the damage is distributed towards that summon. And ideally, you also want ranged units, like Fastia Headhunter is the prime example. So undeads, they have summons, but the skeletons are squishy. They have a Crypt Lord that provides tanky summons, but he's no range. And the ranged units are incredibly late. And while this works on lower levels of the ladder, where the timings aren't as well defined, you get punished so freaking hard on higher levels for this. Demon Hunter Naga kill you. Every orc kills you. Humans also, you can't deal with the expansions enough, but human is a bit of an exception here. I think if you want to enable people to play undead without much frustration and all the skills that it takes to play a ghoul build, enable fiend builds. It's way more convenient. It's way more resistant than, oh, I walked into a chain lightning and everything's dead. Fiends are tankier, so they are easier. They are a bit clunky in what they are. Maybe you can address this as well. But I don't want to buff the Fiend itself. I think the Fiend is fine and has a lot of tools. And is played in almost every army composition. I think the majority of the issue is that the Fiends are so late. And graveyards have the longest build time of all the tier 1.5 buildings. Hunter's Hall is 60 seconds, Warmill is 70 seconds, Blacksmith is 70 seconds, Graveyard is 80 seconds. Maybe you want to stream like this somehow. Maybe you want to address this another way. I am not a game designer. I'm an observer of the scene, and this is an observation, and this is a possible target. But yeah, if you want to change this, you have to do this. I'm very certain that that's the case. I would also like to see quality of life improvements because playing undead is clunky and everything is kind of annoying and you have to go the extra step. And I want to see changes in the direction of reduce corpse delay. You kill something, you want to use the corpse for like Road of Necromancy, beetles, and you have to wait, and that costs seconds and that drains your attention. It's annoying. Reduce corpse delay. I would like that my banshees spawn without curse because I want to save mana. most of the time. Let me change, let me select this. If I want my Banshees with curse or without. I want my statues to join with healing on, so they are not useless when they come out of the slaughterhouse. I don't want to turn on my statues every single time for every single statue. Bro, I can turn on my lights without hitting a button. I want the same for my statues, man. I also want stuff like auto-cast for Anti-Magic Shell and auto-cast for Unholy Frenzy. The big buffs have this. Inner Fire has this. Bloodlust has this. Roar is AoE, so it doesn't need this. But this is just way more convenient than to summon it on every single unit. And I think it's also some kind of skill expression. If you cast it yourself on the essential units that you really want it on, you save mana. If you want it more convenient, you have anti-magic on your skeleton and it costs you mana, and that's the penalty. I also want Gargoyles to have prioritized air by default. And if you can think of more things like this that make undead clunky and annoying and hard work, let me know. I also had some wild ideas. If you think back to like 2 slides before, undeads have, of course, at the moment 2 skeletons from a rod of necromancy. I want to stress that these are wild ideas, right? Just disclaimer. I thought we have this issue that early game undead is so oppressive because of high DPS. And you also have that issue that lower level undeads miss a tank for their fiends. I thought it's also kind of weird that an undead race has no zombie unit. And there is a zombie unit in Warcraft 3. So what if the Rod of Necromancy summons a zombie instead of 2 skeletons? You immediately have more HP for tanking, for creeping. You could... you have less DPS for creeping. By the way, that zombie in-game has to be buffed and nerfed and adjusted. Don't pick the zombie. It's too weak. But you have less DPS as it is 1 unit instead of 2. And there's a lot more decision making. 2 skeletons, you can use 1 for creeping and 1 go scouting. What do you do with 1 zombie? 2 skeletons, you can easily eat 1 skeleton for Dark Ritual. What do you do with 1 zombie? I think that is interesting. I think it could be cool. You could still have 2 zombies if you pass the rod between 2 heroes, but then it's not tier 1. I do understand that the 2 skeleton Rod of Necromancy is an essential core of the undead early game, and this could easily ruin a lot. So be careful with this. But I thought if I have the 2 issues, this might be a way to adjust this. Make Death Knight semi-range. Probably controversial. Do you know, like, the Death Knight we have in Warcraft 3 is Arthas the Lich King, right? But Death Knight has different origins. The origin comes from Warcraft 2, where it's a spellcaster range. That's the OG Death Knight. Currently, the role is healer, support, and nuke, but it's a melee hero. And I think in 95% of the cases, especially in bigger battles, you want the DK to be far in the back, next to your to your statues. Don't get hit at all because you need the coils to support the rest of your army. So that goddamn dumb Arthas dude constantly runs to the front line because it's an A-click, right? Or part of the right-click target fire, whatever you chose to do. Mostly it's right-click target fire because it's undead, but that's not the point. So every time you have to send the DK back. In every fight, dude. That's so annoying. And that is also, I think that's a huge turnoff for mid-tier players, lower-tier players. It's so easy to get punished for an exposed DK. The DK is far forward, you get punished, your healer dies, you die. So maybe make him rage again. Make it the OG Death Knight again. Is there a big downside to it? I don't know. Maybe. You probably have to adjust his tankiness then, as he is the second row. I don't want like Archmage range, But maybe like a Huntress range. Second row, you know? I don't know. Those are the only wild ideas here, by the way. It's just because I'm dealing more with undead than anything. Night Elf. Let me take a little minute here. That was a long monologue. I'm already afraid of looking at chat. Okay. Night Elf. Let's talk about Night Elf. The best and worst designed race of them all. That is, of course, a statement that contradicts itself, right? But I definitely think so. Disclaimer. We shit on Night Elves a little bit here on the channel. We have an emote against them too, actually. We also saw... Is it here? No. We also saw here Night Elves are highly, highly, highly represented on the top levels of the ladder. Big time. 38%, 37%, 30% from Adept to Grandmaster. There's got to be something to it. The ease of execution on the top level is too much, and the tools provided there in comparison is too much. And of course, the problem has a name. Demon Hunter, Dryad, Bears. This is nothing new. This is in the game for 24 years. And it's still the problem. And I'm not gonna pretend that I have the solution. I just want to state the obvious again to give it a voice. These 3 units solve every problem. The Demon Hunter is a huge DPS machine that's also with mana. Like, it has the best scaling stat type in the game with agility. It has a disable with mana burn that renders spell users useless. And thanks to the armor of agility and evasion, it's also a tank. And then you also slap a top tier ultimate on top that makes him even tankier and it gets rid of the one weakness that was melee damage and gives them range. And also AoE is pretty good. I have to also say, though, that the Demon Hunter needs to be enabled. And thankfully, we have the Dryads and the Bears. The Dryads is a tier 2 unit that is magic immune, fast, has an auto-cast Dispel, a free slow that costs no mana, and you have a damage over time that is stackable. That unit is bananas, man. It is range, it has catch, it has dispel, it's amazing. You slow units down with the Dryad, you kill it with the Demon. Boom. Later on, you think like, okay, your one tank is maybe not enough. Maybe I need more. And how do I get all this healing? Thankfully, we have a unit for that. And that is the Bear. I know that the Bear is not the tankiest unit in the game, and I know that the Bear is not the highest damage in the game, but it's pretty damn solid for what it is. It comes online incredibly fast because you can pre-upgrade it already, which you can't for like a Torrent or an Abomination. And it has the shortest master upgrade next to Necromancers in the game. It also heals you for 400 damage that can't be cancelled by a hit. And it conveniently, if you thought that a Demon Hunter with Immolation doesn't do enough damage, it buffs the entire army by 25% in an AoE with a single use. And if there's any weakness that you don't cover with this holy trinity, then you got the Tavern that evens things out. You cannot blame a Night Elf player for not going for this combo. Why would you? Night Elf, the synergies between these units are so freaking good that you don't need anything else. So this is the best design part of any race in Warcraft 3. And the worst part is that you can delete 40% of the Night Elf tech tree, and most Night Elves wouldn't even notice this. You can delete Huntress, Glaive Throwers, Potom, Keeper, Warden, Ancient Protector, Mountain Giant, Hippo, Talon, and Fairy Dragon, as well as Chimeras, and you would do fine. No other race can say that. No race should be able to say that. And that is the problem that everybody has with elves, and this is why elves is one of the most hated races there is, the most hated races there is. I think everybody respects the players. We love to cheer for Moon. We love to cheer for Jens, Kevin, whatever it is, man. But we see this day in, day out, and I am so sure that even Night Elves hate it. There are. I don't know how to do this, man. Oh, I kind of forgot to show you the thingies here. Why is this another problem? Because the solutions that you also have are outshined. Mass Dryads is a better anti-caster than Fairy Dragons ever could be. You don't need Fairy Fire of a Talon to diminish the armor of an enemy unit if the unit cannot escape because of slow. And they're also good enough alongside the Orb of Venom to function as anti-air, even against Mass Gargs. For bears, you have them as tanks. They are cheaper, they are faster than Mountain Giants. They are tanky enough as you have Staff, Moonwells, Rejuve, right? And if you think, oh man, this Mountain Giant can grab a tree and clobber down enemy buildings, the bear has Roar, you got the upgrades, and it has normal damage type. The bear is good enough in raising buildings. It covers everything. There's no need for other units. So, the available tools have great synergies. The available tools are centered on 3 core units, and the units are coming from the same building also. So you don't even need 2 different buildings. And now, the argument always was we don't have lumber for additional buildings for the late game. That lumber problem has been saved. And what do Night Elves now? They don't build an Ancient of Wind to go for Talons of Fairies. Rarely, but rarely. They go for a 3rd lore. Because we then have more bears and more dryads. So either you have to spread the tools out further to unused sources, or you have to nerf the available tools substantially. The Demon Hunter is running wild in every single late game. People have to see this. That it's Omega OP. But, here's the but. If you nerf Demon Hunter Dryad Bears, you have to come up with reasonable compensations, because otherwise this race is doomed. You cannot blame the Night Elf players to go for Dryad Bear Demon Hunter. You have to blame Blizzard for designing it this way, that it functions this way. And now, this is my observation as a caster and part of the scene. And now I give you the ball to the game designer, because that's what they're paid for. This will be controversial, but I think Night Elf needs a rework. I think so. In that direction. No stat change can fix this. You can't add variety into a Night Elf race if you don't have the holy trio. Good luck. I'm pretty sure Blizzard isn't willing to do this. So this is a dream of getting the Night Elves reworked. So we have to argue in a somewhat reasonable way. And I think the entire reason why this Demon Hunter can be as OP as he is right now is immolation. I totally understand that a brawler hero is totally fine to have. And agility heroes are oftentimes good fighters. Stats are alright. I'm even okay with the mana burn, even though it's frustrating. Everything scales, right? And I think the whole Demon Hunter problematic just arose with the rise of Immolation. Immolation is too good. Immolation is too fast. Immolation is too free. Even, I know it demands Moonwell juice, but still, you can creep entire camps with this dude alone. And that shouldn't be the case. You're not playing Dota, boys. You're playing Warcraft. So, I think the ultimate, let him be Superman. The mana burn, I think Night Elf still needs that. Evasion is really good, but it's okay. Immolation is too crazy. I think also, the Keeper of the Grove is very close to being there. I'm a big Jens fan. Jens pushes the Keeper into the meta with everything he can. And it's catching on a little bit. Kevin, Lawliot, a couple of Korean Night Elves. Even today, Chinese Night Elf on Hammerfall. The Keeper is close, man. Even against Undead, we see some Thorns Aura strat. The Keeper is close. I don't think he needs a lot. And please don't touch Entangle. That was way too toxic. Give him a couple of stats or something. I want to see Huntress again. I know I was the main source why Huntress got gutted, as the bouncy glaives didn't bounce from buildings to workers anymore, but I also always said, let the glaives bounce from building to building and from unit to unit, just not from building to unit. And I think that's good. And if you can't do that, buff the stats so Huntress are meaningful without being oppressive. I think Dryad Poison and Poison in general is dumb. I think a Dryad in general is overpowered for the timing you get it. And I think the poison is the reason. I think rejuvenation HP per second is too good. I think you definitely need the overall value of the rejuvenation HP. But the fact that in combat a hit doesn't cancel rejuvenation, which I don't want to change, by the way. We have a lot of cancelable healing, and we need some uncancelable healing for diversity. I think you have to reduce rejuvenation HP. I want to see fairy dragons. I want to see initiate talents. I want to see the laser show with the fairy dragons go off in enemy casters. I want to see talents with focus fire builds with their fairy fire working, because that is fun. So if you don't rework this entire thing, do stuff in that regard. And if you want to know specifics, talk to Lawlight and talk to Jens. They know. They are trying to push Night Elf forward with diversity instead of the classic Holy Trinity. Talk to them. They're available. I can give you their Discord. Humans. I know that humans are struggling on elite level. And there's a solid reason for that. I also want to say I don't want to touch human much. The category is titled, Your Nerves Are My Buffs. I think human in general is great. It has great representation from bottom level to top level. It has in general a good design where every unit has its clear defined purpose, where no unit is useless and nothing is really doubled, except maybe tank barrage and gyro flag cannon. I think everything has great synergies as well. You can come up with very cool combination of human units and make them work, and we see that pretty much every single day in competition. I think the only thing human needs is a little bit of damage. And there's 3 things that changed this, that the humans need this, and that was a water elemental nerf, a rifle nerf, and a heavy armor buff against the piercing damage of water elemental and rifle. So there's 2 ways to do this. Buff water elemental or buff rifles. I think don't buff the water elemental because there's a classic human play of Archmage racing to level 3, summon water elemental in enemy base, kill tier 2 building. or burrow or whatever. I think that is boring and stupid, and we don't want to promote this. I want to see units fight, and I can definitely agree. No, I have to admit that I didn't see the impact of attack speed changes in the last patch at all. This was a value that was changed that was not changed much before, and it had bigger impact than it needed to be. I wouldn't mind a rifle revert. And I think all other issues that human has are solved by nerfs to other races, like Lich, Ghouls, like a rampant Demon Hunter that goes berserk, with a little less redo and a little less slow on Dryads, boom, finished. Then there might be other issues with new Fairy Dragons or whatever, but that's for the future then. I think human in general is fine. Except damage. Except first hero diversity. Man, we had some cool openers in the past for human. New, fresh ways to play the race. Pally rifles, Dark Ranger, Firelord openings, lots of stuff with Blood Mage second, and it's all been gutted. It's gone or crippled. We might see a little bit of Blood Mage second still, but everything else has been gutted. Para rifle, of course, needed a change. I think it needs a bit of a schmack again. I think Dark Ranger and Blood Mage suffer from the fact that the leash range of their life drain and their siphon mana have been addressed. And I think the leash is too short now, so counterplay is too easy. And I would love to see humans with more first hero diversity. The Infi plays were amazing. We had so much fun with Dark Ranger Lady and Soul Apeman. This would be so cool for human to have this back. Orc. Orc is weird, dude. We have a lot of orcs. Again, it's a relatively simple to enter race with Farseer Headhunter, and also I think the recent changes to mirror image enabled people to express a style of orc with a Blade Master without having to rely on insane timings as in the past. That is great. That's great. It's a little bit of the rise of orcs, and this is what we wanted the entire time. It's amazing. We did some very, very good things with orc. I really like that they have good representation. I really like that they have good build diversity. They have different playstyles. You can be a hero focuser. You can be a base lamer. You can build... you can go into a Torrent style and revive the Torrent all the time. You can go into a Bloodlust style to go rah 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 berserk. That is so cool. But we also have to accept the fact that if orcs get their tools together, and that was very noticeable in FFA and the timer mode games, where you couldn't attack your enemy for 11 minutes, orc has by a landslide the strongest late game. And I don't use this lightly, but I think it's unbeatable. I think orc ultra late game is unbeatable by any other race. In one-on-one, that stage is hard to reach because your opponent is, of course, against you. You have fragile tier 1, fragile early tier 2, late game. If you reach the late game, you might get lumber problems. That is an ongoing thing. So we don't see the effects of that too often, especially in the pro games, but on lower level, and that is still high ladder level, we see that more and more. So the higher you go in skill, the weaker the effect is, but it's still a problem. That because it is a problem, because it's such a cause of frustration. It's just not amplified by pros. The spammable mirror image is crazy. Mirror image is essentially not a scouting tool anymore, as it was by design. It's a summon. And every other summon has at least 20 seconds of a cooldown before you can summon it again. Mirror Image is 5 seconds. And it keeps the Blade Master out of harm's way, which can be pretty nice as a unique trait, like against Entangle, for example. But if you think, oh, I'm in a bad spot, Mirror Image, I'm in a bad spot, Mirror Image, I'm in a bad spot, Mirror Image, that's too short, man. Mirror Image cooldown is too short. Also, cool to see heal wards, but god damn it! It's so annoying to play against. It's not bad. Like, it's amazing that orcs, after suffering through tier 1 and suffering through tier 2, they finally get the in-fight sustain regeneration that the other races have the entire time. Via priest, via statues, via rejuve. Then orc finally gets it, and tier 3 should be strong. But if there's a bunch of witch doctors and you can have 8 heal wards, that is for a normal being not cancelable anymore. And that it's too strong. Maybe you can introduce like a max, or I don't know, like a replenishing limit that, like, a Farseer can only summon 2 wolves, a witch doctor can only summon 1 heal ward. I don't know, dude. You're the game designer. Come up with solutions yourself. I also think that Tauren are pretty much uncontrollable. I know they're expensive. And I want them to be very powerful. But in conclusion, in combination with the instant revive and the endless revive that walkers have with these version of the Tauren, the combo of Jesus Tauren that come back with resistance skin is crazy, guys. Maybe you find a middle ground or something. That'd be nice. Just to get rid of that frustration. Orcs have some problems as well. Late game lumber income. You might argue, just get a shredder. But you don't have the resources for that, really. Build another war mill so your peons are closer to the war mill. I was also told from high-level players, I just don't have it, man. That costs me a heal scroll. That costs me 1.5 invulns. I can't afford this. This costs me almost a Tauren to fix my lumber to build Tauren. What's like, I think Blade Master scaling is an issue. If you find items, it's freaking great and one of the coolest heroes in the game. If you don't find items, do you even bother? Creep speed is terrible. No militia, no ancient of war, no strength on the level of ghoul skeletons. There was these hex creep manips on the highest level. I think this is more of an issue on the elite level, by the way, the outpacing, because we rarely see any headhunter mirror image wolf builds or something. This is more of an undead versus orc specific problem. And the early game is always rough in general. Also hardest to get an expansion on. And orcs have this thing where they fight until their long expansion is up. But they have the weakest tools to stay in a fight. They don't have the in-fight regen. They don't have a Brilliance Aura. They don't have a statue that replenishes mana or the Moonwells that might be available to you with a staff. So with the least fitting tools, they are the race that needs these fights the most until they reach heal wards and everything is, of course, cray-cray, right? That tips the scales then again. So I don't know. That's a problem.
Moon vs. Starbuck was the most fun series I've seen in a long time. Thanks for bringing the fights to us.
My pleasure. I want to see siege units, because siege units are drastically underused in Warcraft 3, with one exception. We got 3 units with the same problem. That's the Glaive Thrower, Meat Wagon, and Demolisher. Notice how I don't mention mortar teams. Mortar teams are always part of, like, not always, but oftentimes part of an army. They have a cool upgrade, and what differentiates the mortar team from these other 3 siege units is their movement speed. Mortar teams have 270. These siege units have 240. So don't we all love solutions to casters that are usually hard to reach? Shouldn't siege units be that? But they are never used because they're slow and clunky and they get picked up. They should be fragile in my opinion, but they should also not trail 10 kilometers behind the main army. Make it less clunky so we get more oomph, because oomph is cool. We want to see units splatter into 1,000 pieces. And we want to see maybe new plays to reach these mortar teams, these siege units, and also to then protect them. I think that is a part of Warcraft 3 that is not explored at all. So Blizzard, you have to make these units usable. Also, buff burning oil. For neutral heroes, I think the Naga is too universal, as movement speed is still a number 1 or number 2 stat in the game, and Naga slows you down without any production cost. I think that we see more late game Naga with impact is amazing. I think the new appreciation for high level Fork Lightning is amazing. I think we see her too often, and that is because she's universally useful. And I want to rather see other neutral heroes being on that level instead of Naga being nerfed. But if you have to, nerf Frost Arrow level 1. As I said, I want to see the Dark Ranger openings back. And I think a hero that can have a different playstyle is the Alchemist. We have seen a wonderful transformation of the Fire Lord in the past 2 patches, where it came from, oh, I cheese, I use the summon, and if that fails, I lose, to the Fire Lord can be a disabler, the Fire Lord can be a debuffer, the Fire Lord can be played in different styles and various variations. Incinerate can help you to become a damage dealer as well. That's the prime example of how a hero can become useful. And I would like to see this for the Alchemist, because Alchemist is, at the moment, an AoE healer. Let's be honest, that's the main reason you pick him. But I think Acid Bomb is cool, and the coolest spell is so underused, and that's Chemical Rage. Hit that button, go brrrt. It's awesome. That's so fun. I want the Alchemist to be the neutral hero of this patch that everybody likes to play. The Pit Lord of this patch that goes brrrt with the cleave, and that's enabled with the Dark Ranger. Make the Alchemist go brrrt. That'd be cool. Also, give me loot. I think items leave a lot to be desired. I want to echo a statement of Lynn that I think the big healing potion is too strong. And I want to repeat myself from previous patch notes. I think rune bracers are amazing. Yes. I think it is a damn shame that we only have 1 drop table where there's a mini chance for them to drop. I want them, in a way, represented in a lower tier loot table that might help in the beginning already. A little bit. It is still situational, and mini rune braces would probably oftentimes be sold, but I still think it'd be great to have them. I want to have a Scroll of Magic Protection that works pretty much exactly like a Scroll of Protection for physical damage does, but for magic protection. So if you see, goddamn, my opponent is stacking Blizzard Flamestrike or Nova Impale Swarm, I want to have a tool against that that's not an Alchemist. There's way too few things to do against this. And it doesn't have to be like super strong. And I don't think it should be an item that you always want. I think it should be somewhere between Scroll of Protection, which is, I guess, underused, and Scroll of Healing that's always used. I also want that a lot of spells are findable as consumables. We have Cyclone. We have Roar, etc., right? Why don't we have Curse, Spirit Link, Purge, Fairy Fire, Unholy Frenzy, Rejuvenation, and Bloodlust as items? Give us more variety so we can have more fun. You can enable a Blade Master with an Unholy Frenzy to Oblivion, but of course it has to scale, right? For a mid-game drop, maybe. It'd be amazing if a Spirit Link item helps you out. I think that'd be great, man. Why do we use some spells and others don't? I purposefully left out the Lightning Shield, by the way, because that can be abused. I also want that map makers are rewarded in the next patch. I went to Battle.net for the first time in forever and looked at the maps. These maps are ancient. Most of the maps are from 2004, 2006, and I'm not against nostalgia. But even our newest maps are either 8 years old or 5 years old. With one exception, and that is Hammerfall on Battle.net Ladder. That is 5 years without an established new map. That is crazy, guys. Fortunately, we have a lot of great maps, and those were visible at the Yumiko Arena, and there's a lot of previous attempts of bringing a map to War 3 Champions, for example, that eventually failed. Unfortunately, Chinese tournament organizers are very reluctant to implement new maps, and this is a bit of a blame game where everybody gives the authority to another person. Where tournament organizers say, it's the viewers want old maps, and then some other viewers say, we want new maps, and then the platform says, yeah, but then the players don't play it, and then the players say, yeah, we don't play it because we don't see them on the streams, and then it's not on the streams because it's not in the tournaments, you know, and this all goes way around, and nobody introduces a new map. I think we have to be radical about this. I think the only authority that's left that's really meaningful can be Blizzard. Otherwise, I'm losing hope about this. And the map makers, by the way, too. You know how long they're making maps, and they're great maps, and they're never played anywhere, how disheartening this is? How amazing would it be if Blizzard picks your map that you just did? If Blizzard picks Figglewick's work from the Yumiko Arena, the Fading Autumns, the Sunhoof Mesa, the Fell Pit. If someone picks up Runes of Ashara again that we haven't seen, and we have enough maps to do bigger rotations in the map pools. Make the map pools smaller and make better rotations and faster rotations. Additional food for thought for the future. I didn't want to provide that here because it would be a thing for like an entire video by themselves. But do level 2 and 3 spells scale too well? They oftentimes double their effects. Are we creating too strong of timings with that so that half the game is about creep routes? Should that be addressed? And should in-combat regen ramp up exponentially? So in the beginning of, let's say, a rejuvenation, the healing is slow, and with every tick, you get more healing. That would reward dispelling or canceling these effects fast, while giving a higher reward later when they are used out of combat. That might be nice. I think that's it. Is that it? Yes, that's it. I'm done. That's my balance thing. Now, Twitch chat, roast me. I'm getting a drink and you can give me feedback. I hate this. I hate this. Amazing input. No need auto micro. No micro needed anymore. Tekko, you play the race with the most autocast, bro. Human basically does nothing itself. Nice ideas, nice presentation, nice. Auto dispel should be weaker than manual casting it. Elaborate but not too much, gives good image. Thanks. Thanks for your effort, we'll take it into consideration. Okay, okay. Seriously, good ideas. Finally someone who is couraged enough to touch the game with words like rework. Needs more necromancer. I think necromancers are freaking dope, dude. Scroll of Magic Protection is your best idea in my opinion. Nice, glad you like it. Some things are wild. Tekko, what is wild? Let me know. Dude, I'm super open. I have no hard feelings except against the Demon Hunter. I asked Sharky and Sharky said everything is great. Luke. Oh my god. Iron Chef. Where is he? 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 Where's Iron Chef? There. In a balance, guys, let's in a balanced discussion, we have a sentence saying, I personally disagree with the majority of your points, but I can understand your points and vision. I'm so touched that we reached a level of discourse that we tolerate each other. Cheers to Iron Chef. Overall good. No mana region for orcs. Not without a massive rework. Love the ideas no matter good or bad. Change is normally good. However, I feel like I'll fall on deaf ears with Blizzard. It has to be War 3 Champions volunteers. I proposed that once. They disagreed. Prior to patch 2.0, I would have been with you. I think the current dev team is pretty great. Except it's a bit too slow. You have just mamaed your last Mia. What the fuck? What the hell is that supposed to mean? Who would have thought that the only thing I disagree with Neo is leaving out limited elf healing and buff meat wagons without nerfing Disease Cloud? Well, they would. Oh, you okay. I see. It has a ripple effect on abominations, right? That's the downside. Without. No, wait. Yeah, you say. Oh no, buffing meat wagons without nerfing Disease Cloud. I think it has a ripple effect on abominations. I do think Disease Cloud is great. I do... Yeah, limited elf healing is so weird to me. Oh, wait, I have to put this on. Limited elf healing is so weird to me because I don't disagree with you. Because it is Moonwells and Reju, right? So the thing is, if you give additional healing, you have that on top of the overall... Like, Moonwells are great, Reju is great. You can debate the quantity, but I don't think you can debate that in itself, both things are tools that other races would like to have. So if you add another source of healing on top, you're getting into risky territory, I think. But I see your point in that you are so dependent on what you have. And this is kind of my point with the bears, right? Why would you play anything that doesn't give you rejuvenation when you can play something that gives you rejuvenation? From an ore standpoint, I agree to nerf tier 3 a bit and strengthen tier 2. Wouldn't hate it. On Dark Ritual, did you take into consideration the mana cost of the spell? It's 25. I did not. I have something to say. Did I get a DM from you? Yes. Sharky says, my idea with Blight, 0.75 HP per second. It's a nerf, but it's not nothing. I think it's a good in-between. Making Shades a summon, bad idea. Making Invis an ability, great idea. Right? I love this, man. It doesn't impact lower level play at all and makes higher level play more difficult. That's exactly what I wanted. Fiend builds are viable over 1600. What you said is just crap and not true. Graveyard can build max... Oh, fuck, yes. Graveyard can build maximum of 5 seconds quicker because it also takes away the chance to cancel it. True, 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 true. Shit, I forgot to... Yeah. Yeah, definitely true. Big true. Big true. AMS autocast is stupid idea, don't do. It's tier 2. Every other big spell that has autocast is tier 3. Fair. DK semi-range, remove 2 strength and we're good. Yep, I said this. Should be addressed. Do the same with the paladin. Actually, that's a good point. I would argue Paladin has Devotion Aura and Bubble, so it's not essentially the same, but I can definitely see the point. Nerf Imballation, please. Yes. Don't buff Hunts too much. Yes. Small keeper buff good. Do not buff Dark Ranger nerf. Blood Mage buff good, but not the range makes Siphon less mana again. Mirror Image, either it costs more or does no damage or gives way more XP. Make wards dispellable again, remove resistance skin. Scroll of Magic Protection seems way too strong in some scenarios, but never weak. Needs to be a tier 4 item. Oh, I would put it in the shop. I would put it in the shop, the Scroll of Magic Protection. UD suggestion perfect. Got more wishy-washy. Yeah, I'm not, like... I definitely focus on that once more. And I'm not a game designer. I am an observer, and I mostly wanted to present observations. So I don't want to reinvent other races. Did you say anything about Panda? Nope. I kind of like the Panda, and I think the anti-air role of a Panda should be solved by the Tinker with rockets, and the Panda should be a shotgun AoE. Overall good changes. Thank you, Lemes. I really felt called out. No, it was great, Iron Chef. I disagree totally. You should quit streaming and find a real job, bro. Fuck you. I really didn't want to go very specific paths. I see myself as an observer. I am not a game designer. I am not a high-level player. I can tell you what I like to see in games and what I don't like to see in games. And a Lich destroying everything I don't like to see in games. A Demon Hunter destroying everything I don't like to see in games. A player doing a lot of damage, but eventually it's useless because one raise can just heal for free I don't like to see in games. AMS autocast is crazy. Is it though? Is it really that crazy if you don't control what you AMS? Sacrificial Pit could use some other use as well. Maybe as a compensation for the slight shade nerf. I always thought the Ritual Dagger is a bit stupid, and the Sacrificial Pit could be moved to tier 1, with Shade being tier 2, and the Pit can be... You can sacrifice a unit into the Pit to get the Ritual Dagger effect, but you can only do it in the base. Bear Roar is 25% damage buff. Maybe we can change it to... Oh, I don't hate this. Roar Bear is 25% damage buff. Maybe we can change it to a constant value so it will be better to buff on Archer's talents instead of Bears. I don't hate this. Is there a downside to it? Could scale crazy with Archers, I guess. Flying DK? Can we get a flying DK? But how can a horse fly? My opinion, to be really careful with buffs and bring some innovation without directly buffing. Buffs and bring some innovation without directly buffing. In my opinion, at the moment, it should be about balancing the races and not having OPDH or a race that doesn't care about wood. Like human. At the same time, consider those nerfs for other races. You know, I think we did so many nerfs in the past 8 years, and every time you nerf something, you definitely discourage players from doing what they did. And I think we should encourage people. Like, how many Pala Rifle players got frustrated and quit because they were nerfed? How many Dark Ranger enjoyers left and quit because they got so hard nerfed? I think buffs are, for the state of the game that we're in, way healthier. And this will lead to a bit of power creep, but I think you should, in general, counter buffs with buffs instead of with nerfs. Have you written this down? It's not public yet. Fuck Shades, good on you. Yeah, fuck Shades, dude. What's your take on Remo's Expo obsession? Oh! I actually wrote this down. I actually wrote this down. But I didn't say it. Another preface, because people say B2W wants this, B2W wants that. I have a different vision of the game than Remo. He wants to push 2-base, and that's a valid opinion to have. I say Warcraft in its core is not a macro RTS, and the more playstyles, the better. RTS has so much to offer. Expansions, fast tech, mass, 1-base timing pushes, cheese, towers, whatever. I like them all, especially if they're evenly viable. If you decide for yourself that you're a macro player, there should be a playable composition for you. If you decide that you're a 1-base timing player, there should be a playable composition for you. That's my take on this. Autocast Coil Nova. I was thinking about suggesting auto invo potions for night elves, but I decided against it. I do think we have some great Expo games, and I, in general, like tier 3 more. I really don't like tier 2 timing games too much. But I would never say the game has to develop in a direction that those are not possible at all anymore. How can horses fly? What about wings? What about turbines, dude? Like a jet. Talent should get a nerf duration tornado with mana point adjustment at first upgrade instead of crow form. Yeah, I was thinking about that. Cyclone, the timing for Cyclone doesn't fit the flow of the game. But Cyclone is very, like, a disable becomes weaker the bigger the armies are. And tier 3 talents arrive rather late. Maybe a bit earlier now with the master training being faster. But obviously, if you Cyclone a 5 supply unit at 40 food has a way bigger impact than if you do it at 80 food, right? It's just numbers. I think it's I don't know. I think Cyclone doesn't fit the spot either. I don't know. It would be... What do you do with crows then, though? I still believe Keeper Entangle should put poison damage. No! Poison must be nerfed before we do shit. Poison is so broken. Poison is so broken, man. Why does poison stack? It's all written by Gemini. Actually, no AI was involved except the ice hockey ghoul that I used. I found that very funny. because they do a rotation like an ice hockey team. And that's what I liked about this. Some thought about the race distribution. I think it also shows that Elf is struggling on really low level due to weak base defense and fragile archers. Yep, that's why I want Huntress to be stronger. I thought for a long time if Wisps on trees should get an armor buff, but I decided against it. How do you like that DK mid-range idea? I thought it's rather wild. I'm all for poison non-stacking and rebalancing around that. Right? It's so stupid that poison stacks, man. What? That's just the bug, and it's too big of an issue to address, I think, right now. I just want to say also, I don't disagree with Remo. The Expo games are really funny and interesting now, but partly because not every game is Expo. My man. Dude, I had so much fun watching the Starbuck tower push games. And I was so sick and tired of human tower push games during like Sky era, 2014 era. That was so cool to bring it back. Generally speaking, agility and armor being connected is what causes a lot of problems. I think it's only the Demon Hunter. I don't think it's a big issue if a Blade Master... Like, for the Blade Master, it's not an issue. I don't think it's an issue for a Warden. I think it's only the Blade Master. The Demon Hunter. What do you think about unreachable wisps from melee attack on some trees? I don't have a strong opinion on it. Pretty weird to have a DK throwing his sword. Could be anything, right? Could be like a Dragonhawk Lance attack. Could be anything. Percentage base heal on Blight. That'd be sick for a bombs late game. Melee DK Arthas is too iconic. I don't like the DK rework. That's what people probably said about the Death Knights in Warcraft 2. Can Dryads get Disease Cloud instead of Poison? I think Dryads don't deserve a single buff. I thought Dryad Slow is too powerful, not the Slow is included in Poison. Because the Poison does both. The damage over time and the slow. That's what I mean. Oh, good that you bring this up. Both. Like, the Poison passive slows and damages. And that is too strong. Change turn rates. I think I'm not qualified to judge the impact of turn rates. In my opinion, buff human tier 1 base tier 3 so we can play 1 base without expo 80% of all games. How do you buff 1 base tier 3 without automatically over buffing 2 base tier 3? Because in general, I'm with you. I think 1 base tier 3 can be sick and can be real good, but I have no idea how. And I think that's also something like that I want to say more in these discussions. That there's a lot of elements of the game that I don't know about and I don't have expertise with, and that other people should judge this. How are the new heroes Remo and Neo going to be implemented? That's a very good question. I thought about, like, if you implement a new tavern hero, what role should it have to fill? Because I don't know at all. Alex, thank you. Because I don't know what's missing. Really. Is there a role that's not addressed by a tavern hero? I don't know. Only mana regen, but I think that would be insane. Edgy carry. Nerf blight region for ghouls and acolytes. Maybe ghouls is fine, not for echoes. I don't know, dude. Echo's pretty good. Echo's pretty sick. No melee edgy hero in the tavern. Do we want that though? Do we want more agility heroes? I don't know. Alki can fulfill this role. Yeah, with Chemical Rage you can, man. Dude, isn't Chemical Rage mega cool? Don't we all want to see more Chemical Rage going crazy? But yeah, it would be refreshing, that's right. And also that would probably come with new abilities, right? That would also be great. But hey, I tried to keep it realistic. I did think about, like, do I want to give them a suggestion for fairy dragons? Because for fairy dragons, there's like a super low-hanging fruit, right? I love fairy dragons. They're pretty. I think the design is amazing. I think the use case can be crazy against like big groups of casters. So the lowest hanging fruit they could do with Mana Flare. Mana Flare was 100. And now it's 80. And it was one time 90. So if they want to be super mega lazy, they put it back to 90 instead of 80. Is that cool? I don't know. I thought, does it make sense to give them medium armor? Fairy dragons should get Yang Feng, you're freaking scaring me, dude. Wait. Where is that? I talked to Rain today. I talked to Rain today. Maybe Fairy Dragon needs puck ability for teleport. Or phase shift while in mana flare form. We're the same, dude. Yang Feng, we're the same. Why was it nerfed? It did terrorize human casters. Just sucks that Undead is the only race without an agility hero. What exactly is the human agility hero? I saw a Reddit thread naming Hippo Riders being the least played unit. I thought about how removing or lowering the mounted cooldown could change that. Like maybe this? That happened already, and since then we do see more Hippo Riders, which is actually cool. Dude, Jens is such a freaking god. Making Hippo Riders work versus Undead. All good. But hey, it just goes to show that you have good ideas. Because that worked. That worked very well. I still think Ancient of Wind, Spirit Lodge, and Temple should build faster and cheaper. I don't know the values. I don't know how fast they build. That's... For me, that's... That needs some studying. One, siege units being viable in fights. 2, blight percentage-based regen. 3, buff fairies at blink. 4, tavern heroes. And items. I think with items we can add a lot of fun. Yeah, I don't have like the funnest ideas, but I think overall the game would be more fun. Okay, let's... Wait, where's my... can I... When did I start this? Oh no, the first chat is disappearing already. Deco, what the fuck? Oh, this is the human part already? The humans outraged, bro. Neo based, nice. Yeah, I tried to not nerf units mostly. Especially low tier units. Because that's freaking dangerous. I'm back, guys. It's so funny, dude. Undead is too strong. It's just an illusion. Let's take destroyers. They look strong due to infinite heal, heavy armor, spell immunity, mobility, and magic damage. But what you don't see is the other races have the exact same capabilities. Just combine a breaker with a gym and a couple of full mana master priests. Oh, the dude is just the best, man.
We need Pitlord playable as first hero.
I think by design, he's not a great first hero, but he's the best second hero. Nerfing Blight, very good. Very, very good. New Ghoul hockey skin, let's go. Making UD base weaker makes total sense. After you debuff so it can fast expand. Right? This was never addressed, man. I think Undead got a lot of tools. Now that I'm reading up on your initial feedback, Undead got a lot of expansion-related buffs without ever addressing the base. UD didn't have Ritual Dagger in the past. That's why they have Blight. Yep. That's also something that I have in my script that I probably forgot to mention. If someone is arguing against the Blight nerf, I think you can counter-argue that Blight was designed without the Ritual Dagger existing. I don't know about Blight percentage based. I don't want to name values, really. I want to point out directions that I dislike in the game. And then actual game designers can do the job and do values. And you know, there will be a PTR. There will be a number, let's say X. And then the community says, oh my god, X is crazy. Let's do Y. And then Blizzard says, oh, really? Let's do X minus 1 that is in the middle of X and Y. And community says, oh, you're listening. You're so cool. This negotiation, man. Level 2 spells are supposed to be 2 times better than level 1 spells. It's a trend in almost all hero spells. Only in a 22-year-old game, not in modern games. Unholy Aura, Dagger, Cannibalize, Blight, Statues. Why 5 types of healing from a single race? For a race that is decaying. It makes 0 sense. I liked it so far. Nobody is ever going to build a sacrificial pit if shades expire. That's ridiculous. To be honest, I would not mind. What do we lose in terms of entertainment value if we never see a shade again? 0. And I said, you can make the shade cool. You can make the pit cool if you want to. You can catch shade with the speed scroll. The under aesthetics argument is very dumb. I agree. But it was an argument. So. A lot of people thought Blight is only 4 times the other races region, but it's 8 times. I have to say, I was shocked when I looked it up. Not necessarily about the Blight region, but about the low region of the other races. Are you watching a 22-year-old game or are you watching a modern game? I am watching a 22-year-old game, but I can point out that there have been improvements in game design, and there's a reason why modern games are designed in a way and why we are not doing things anymore that we did 22 years ago. Lol, I watched the Night Elf part. I knew it's gonna come. Night Elf has only 1 late game scaling, so let's nerf it. Are you a bit limited? Because I said buff everything else or rework everything. So this is not the case anymore. I specifically addressed this issue for like 10 minutes. Spell scaling idea is interesting. Look at recent steering arrow change. (10, 20, 30 to 12, 24, 48). Actually, I kind of want the opposite of this. I kind of want the opposite of this. And it's still double. It would be a gigantic impact. That's why I never included it. But I think, like, it's so much about timings. Yeah, I really try to have this condensed with, like, the most glaring issues that I at the moment have with the game, and that is reported to me from, like, the ladder experience. Also, something from the Grubby Invitational is in there as well. Obviously, my own experience, but not too much. I could go on forever and ever and ever, and I deleted a lot, and I left stuff out purposefully, which I don't think is super important. I think in general we're in a good state. I think last patch was better. But if we combine both, that's the biggest chance, I feel. Other strats are incredibly fun, but incredibly weak. Yes. Well, I guess that is the start to patch idea season. Put it on the Reddits, put it on the forums if you have suggestions as well. Make your own videos. I want to reiterate again and again and again and again that Blizzard took a lot of inspiration from a Reddit post that comes from a user that is not at Back to Warcraft, that is not a pro player, but who just had great ideas. So if you guys have good ideas, put them out there with videos and texts and everything. I can only say, if you talk about it on Reddit, people will probably not gonna see it. If you put it on Discord, people will probably not see it. If you put it on Reddit, there's a very high chance that people are seeing this. Battle.net forums, I don't know, actually, 50-50. Can we buff a bash on kobolds? Thank you, Orange. Are you the caster, Orange? That'd be crazy. You introduced the term super wells that I use to this day. Nerfing Bear Dryad is good on paper, but if you just buff hunts and eliminate Bear Dryads, then you get bottom hunts glaives every game. It's hard to redesign everything. Yep. That Night Elf is seriously fundamentally flawed and extremely limited in the adaptability as well. But that's just my observation. I'm not the dev. Moon Rangers? The hell are moon? Did I miss this? What are Moon Rangers? Where are Moon Rangers? I don't see it here. Can you post it again? What are Moon Rangers? I think changes should be made to make mountain giants and fairies useful without completely taking over the meta. How would you make them useful when dryads and bears exist? Like, I'm very open to the idea. But I got no clue. What element of the game is not covered by Demon Hunter Dryad Bears plus X, which is second hero? A knight equivalent that doesn't... A knight equivalent that doesn't take teching into a higher tier tech building. I don't understand this. You can bring Keeper back, but then you have Mass Tier 1. Mass Tier 1 was terrible. Yeah, put the idea out there, Caribbean. I don't get it, but it's also been a day, eh? It's also been a day. Okay, I am kind of cool that most of you don't hate what I did. Sturdy anti-air? But it's enough of an anti-air. You also have to calculate in the fact that you don't probably... most likely you don't know that mass air is hitting you when you build the lore. And you have dryads that cover so much. Anti-caster too. Dryads can't out-abolish slow or mass necros. For that you have wisps. And you don't have to abolish yourself. That's a plus. That's the thing. Like, if you need big AoE dispel, you can wisp flood also. Many suggestions on point and others interesting. Thank you. Does the map editor work on Mac? I have never touched a Mac in my life, so I don't know. I do like Wisp Detonates, by the way. Very cool. Very cool plays. All right. I think I'm very relieved that you don't tear me apart. Very relieved. Like, it's a bit nonsensical, but it really puts a lot of stress on me thinking about this and knowing that this time is coming, because I know people will tear each other apart during patch season. It's always that way. So I'm getting mentally ready for this. Very, very appreciative about your feedback. You guys made some great points as well. I think I learned a little bit from taking a more observant role and reporting my observations than trying to be the game designer, which I never really wanted, but maybe it came across that way. I'm pretty sure that's possible. Oh yeah, how did you like the zombie idea, bro? I didn't see the reaction to that yet. How did you like the zombie idea instead of the 2 skeletons? It's like, it kind of achieves what I want, right? But it's probably also it's probably too much of a nerf, but I don't know. It's a big nerf. But it's not mega off, I think. Could be a big nerf. Mr. Tower, I will not forget about the pizza. Zombies look ugly. Do they? I don't know, dude. I think it's actually pretty pog. I think it's a pretty good, like, this kind of me without a beard. I'm fine with it. Just needs a beard and Rod of Necromancy me. Right? Why is his head on the chest? I think it's just hanging low like this. Like, the posture is fucked. Hey, I wouldn't mind playing with the zombie. A little bit of a hunchback. Yep. Well, we'll see. If this makes it into the game, I guess I'm to blame for proposing this. But eventually it's down to the game designers to decide on this, right? Don't forget about that. Oh, guys. I'm gonna rate you to someone who's showing you some actual games. Yo, Flippy, hello. And I guess that man is Carson. You guys can think about your own suggestions. Put them forward. Gaslight Carson into doing balanced feedback himself. Thank you guys for your input. I'll be back tomorrow with the Germany versus Ukraine show match. Very excited for that. And Remo is there in the afternoon. Probably also comment on that as well. Take care, everybody. Appreciate you. Bye.
To come, waiting for things to run away from. Are you just hiding? Yeah, walking into the fire, talking like you never die, like you're immortal. You try to stay awake, these walls you can't escape. Here's one for the lonely hearts, for the ones that fear the dark. You better run out of here. Bet you can't look the other way. Here's one for the broken road, that's the only one you know. You better run out, truth or dare. Get me out, take me anywhere but here. Here's one for the lonely hearts, for the ones that fear the dark. You better run out of here. Bet you can't look the other way. Here's one for the broken road, that's the only one you know. You better run out, truth or dare. Get me out, take me anywhere but here. Anywhere but here. Anywhere but here. Anywhere but here.
But if the replays, I could always watch.